All right. Hello, everyone. Let's launch out the TikTok Live Studio and we start. Today we are going to finish up what we have from yesterday. So we have a problem with uploaded file. I'm gonna actually try one trick. I think it should be working, but hope it does work. Let's start. Go live. And here we go. We are already live. Cool. Now we wait for some people to join. We will use some flares and hopefully all be good. Good. All right. That's epic. Now let's check out Twitch. I will actually post also on Discord so people actually can join. So that would be cool. And I'll wait for some comments from you guys. And that's it. That's it. And then we start. Already we have one viewer. Interesting. I'll let you always, as always, comment whatever you want so I don't restrict anybody. And then we start with this. Cool. So yeah, I think yesterday we faced a problem that I don't understand what is happening, but I can go to my component, to my upload noises. This is where we stopped, and we need actually to fix out something. And yeah, hopefully all good. Now I'll go to my Discord because I already have people asking me about posting from now on in the chat that I am live. Everyone, I am live on Twitch. Cool. Send now, that's fine. Hopefully they don't hate me because honestly a lot of people are on Discord, 100 plus, and they will be really furious about this. Everybody will be joining now. All right, that's the first link for Discord, so you will have it in the chat. You can follow up, and yeah, all right, I'll be really happy with all your likes, and that will be amazing. This is also our Discord on Twitch, and let me put this for 10 minutes, and yeah, that's cool. Hey there, I see already next is in the chat. Nice. Nice, everybody, welcome back. So I actually wanted to try something because yesterday we had a problem with this application having an issue uploading the file. So the file is not found somehow, it's not bound to be found, and I need to find out why. And let's check it out now. What app I am making? I'm making just a white noise app. An app. Good evening. I know that today I started actually very late. I know that I promised for sure I will always start earlier, but for some reason I don't have time, man. It's like too much. All right. Yeah, so now the upload is not working at all. Now it works. Oh, no, I'm trying to do that. I think my network will throw an error. Let me try again. Yeah. So the adding here says, hey, it's been an empty object, which is totally weird because honestly, it should be, the payload should be there. All right. Noises/add. What is white noise app? It's just an app where you can, let me just show it to you so you can actually be okay with that. Listening to our white noises, which is this one here. So you can listen to noises basically, and you will be able to listen that you can focus on, like rain voices, for example, something like that, right? And yeah, you have a Pomodoro on top, you have a break one, and you have like some to-dos here to add. Here you go. Now we are working on this component on the left side of the screen, which is a very bad component though, where you can actually upload something, and then when we push this, we have a localhost issue, a fetcher function issue. It's saying, hey, a bad request, I think you forgot something to execute. And here I have the file. I have console logged the file yesterday, so I can just see that I'm actually doing the correct one. So hopefully that explains it to you. And right now let's just focus on this, try to find out everything that we missed from yesterday, And yeah, I want everybody in the chat who are here for the first time to just ask as many questions so we can create this dynamic part, right? Where we ask and communicate and do everything together. Can we ask some questions, not related to our app, but just some coded questions? Yeah, app. Yeah, welcome back, by the way. I see that you're here for many times now, and I'm really happy that you're coming back and watching. That's amazing, bro. I'm grad in computer science, but forgotten everything, trying to get back into it. I mean, what are you doing right now? I mean, if you are a grad, didn't you find a job or something like that, or did you continue doing something else? All right, what we are trying to do right now, we have this Zod resolver, basically the Zod part to validate our form. We have a form here with this input, basically, and it should be hidden, but I actually put it as not to just see that it's taken the file. Do I have any console logs here? Not really. That's good. So I want to actually go to this white noise here. I'm actually returning the function directly, so yeah, I want to make sure of one thing. Let me just check the login form, because yeah, login form, I just want to see if in my submit function here I'm not returning anything. Usually I was thinking that maybe you need to return this, but I think not, so that's good. So then I'm not doing anything problematic, right? Here I'm actually console logging the key and value for that form data entries, and this form data is just the file. I mean, whatever you pass as a file. Oh, wait a second, I think maybe here if we just do file, that would be better, because we actually pass in the file directly. And then no overload match the score, overload whatever, void gave the following error, argument of white noise any is not assigned to parameter of string blob. Interesting. Okay, let me just do this now. For now it's just a path string, it's a, and it should be file type, path, and maybe file. Is there a type called blob though? And then let me do this as a blob. Interesting. All right. Oh, okay. So it's not actually using this. It's using this schema part. Yeah. So instance of file. So it should not be a blob. It should be file. And still we have a problem with that. Interesting. All right, so if not, we are using this anywhere. Okay, let me just see where we are using this. It's in the fetcher function, right? Okay, so this is what the fetch function returns, basically. Well, we're not worried about that. All our problems are in here. Basically, before the posting, the form data is not passing correctly. You know what? I heard that probably I need just to make some headers, and then content type. That could be the issue also. Content type. Is it like this? I'm honestly not sure. It's something multi-par, or let me just check that out, because that can be also the issue. So yeah, I will wait for all your comments and then read them all once and for all. Yeah, it's multi-par form data. So this one multi-par slash form data, form dash data. Yeah. Oh, we have a first-time chatter in Twitch, and we have also Franco here. Nice. He started learning GS today, but he still doesn't know how to use it. I mean, step by step, my brother. If you have any questions, please shoot it in Discord. Sorry, but this is Node.js. Yeah, it's Node.js TypeScript on the back end, and also on the front end we have React TypeScript as well. So yeah. I hope that answers your question, but if you stay for a bit, you will see a lot of parts of our application that uses, for example, certain databases, ORMs and stuff like that. And also we have 10-stack query as a package that helps us with querying our database and stuff like that. We have some API functions that we have on the front end, back end also, as controllers that help us also fetch data from the database and stuff like that. So we have really complete application. Well, fairly complete. It contains everything that you need to know about web development, kinda, the basic stuff, and we move from there. So yeah, he answered also Franco saying, learn from Udemy Jonas Schmetman. It's pretty long, but good at the start. I mean, yeah, I think, is he in Academind? I think I am really familiar with this name, but yeah, I'm not sure. You are on a different level? I don't think so, man. I am just in a normal level. Would you recommend something else? Something else like what? Okay, so he said AWS S3 bucket. By the way, everybody on Twitch, probably they don't see the TikTok. The TikTok basically comments, so I'm trying to read them sometimes, and they are more comments on TikTok than on Twitch, because on Twitch I'm fairly new. I just got affiliated and people start to get interested in the page and the channel. So he asked about his S3 bucket. Seems like a good option, but takes forever to upload or display. I don't know. I never tried it, so maybe I will try it in this project. So the screen is turning black when you are coding. Are you sure about that? Oh, let me check then. No. Oh, okay. I see the problem here. Let me just do this then. Okay, now you can see this, right? Yeah, there was an issue with okay. Okay, now you can see. Sorry. Yeah, there was a problem happening with with Live Studio from TikTok. Yeah, that's perfect. Sorry for that. I mean, it happened to be like an issue, smaller one, but all good hopefully for now, right? Fixed. Thanks. Nice. All right, cool. Let us. Also, that's a good reason to go to Twitch, because honestly, TikTok is really bad for streaming. I will paste the Twitch link here, so you can guys also go to Twitch and follow there, because honestly, it's better platform, and also you can see the whole screen, right? Awesome. Cool. So also I will have some videos about stripping this application into small components, basically stripping this application into small definitions, like small ones, and explaining them to you step by step. So basically you can also be aware of what I'm using and what I'm not. And yeah, I'm using a lot of packages, by the way, and you are right about that. I should maybe explain them. All right, where is that expected? It's expected here, so all good. Now let's try this. Maybe the content type was the problem. I will try it and then get back to you guys. Like, I'll get back to reading, I mean, the messages, but yeah. So now I'm actually trying to upload a file. It's an MP3 file, and now it has a 500 internal error, which is I'm surprised by actually. 500, which means that the payload is empty still, but multipart boundary not found. Actually, this is interesting. Boundary not found. What does that even mean? 500. Okay, so what I'm receiving right now as a problem is this error. I can search it. So basically, whenever when I changed the stuff to be content type off to prevent Postman to send the content type header, so I just removed it from request. Okay, I found the solution. I only had to prevent Postman to send the content type header. Okay, so yeah, if you're using a fetch method, post and then the form data here, headers, so that the fetch API automatically set the headers. Oh, what? Okay, so let him do not basically do that. Remove it. Remove the headers, and then it will be automatic. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so we know that we don't need to do that. I'll try it again. So it says, yeah, don't use headers, basically. And maybe our fetcher functions actually have headers by default, but if I need to pass it, okay, it has headers as empty. Interesting. Where is the header actually used here? Let me just see that. All right, if I just do this, for example, let me just try that out. Okay, it will throw an error. Not really then. Okay, let me try this again. What am I making? I'm right now finding a solution for uploading a file into a database, and not into a database, into my backend, basically as an asset folder, and it seems not to be working, and I don't know what to do. Honestly, I thought that the content type will solve the issue, but it turned out that Molter, which I use actually for uploading this, does not like this. So now missing audio file, it says. And why is that? Okay, So let's read the backend part where it says missing ugly file. So it says, hey, the request doesn't have the file at all. Interesting, because it does. Okay, so it needs to be into the request. Maybe the body doesn't need to have form data like that. It does need file and then form data. It might be that this is an issue, by the way. Where does it say like that? Oh man. Type form is on type to type string. Where do you see that? I mean, it's in the body. Rec dot file. It should not be in the body, right? Okay, chat, can you help? Let me see. You can show the page. I'll show you that. Yeah. 1 second. I'll show you all the page for sure. So what I'm gonna show you now is the error itself. So yeah, again, I'll do like a small tour. It's an application where you have to add to-dos or whatever. Here you go. Delete them. As you see here, I'm deleting the network tab. You have like this Pomodoro effect stuff, and then these are the white noises, and then here you can search them. It works actually. I have 2 of them as coffee. Let's not talk about this one now. Now I'm applied on the file and I'm gonna choose this one. Let me actually refresh the page. Upload the file, push this, submit it. Then it says, hey, I think that you forgot about this missing audio file part. Why? Because file is empty, it says. And now I'm confused because the moment that I actually passed that file into there, there is a console log here that contains all of the things that I need to pass, basically as form data. This is my form data, basically. And my form data is not passed correctly, right? Okay, let me just submit again. Submit. And that is also add. Okay. So the moment actually I think I add this, let me refresh and actually stop this from running, and then I will just upload again. And here you go. Yeah, so you see, these are the keys and values of the form data, and then the file contains the file data in the form data itself. So what I'm doing actually is I'm passing the body to the backend as a form data. So here I'm actually, if you think about it, this is the request here. Wow. Okay, so file is empty here, you see. So I'm console logging basically the rec. Let me do rec.file to just make sure that it's just that, and then you will see here rec.file is undefined. Holy moly. All right, let me tend to know why. Then if I just pass this as form data directly, what do I have there? Let's check again. Tend to be actually also undefined again. I'm running again the server. All right, now I am reading what you said. Are you following tutorial for this? No, I'm not following anything. I'm just doing this out of my curiosity. What is the difference between interface and type? I mean, I tend to use type, and you pick your lane, pick one of them. And let's check also Twitch if... Oh, Prevals, how's it going? Good. I mean, nothing much from yesterday. We just started and we're still fixing the same issue. How much experience do I have with TS? I think around the 3 years experience. Not much. I tend to use it before, but I don't understand its premise and how it works. But then I focused with it around 2022. When Corona happened, actually, 2021. That's when I started actually focusing 100% on it. And now I get it. I can pick, omit, I can create my own types. I can understand union types, how to basically extend stuff, strictly type stuff, how to sometimes use it to refine certain stuff. Like for example, if a fetcher function there has a generator, it's called TypeScript something generative, not generative. Actually, I forgot that part. Sorry, sometimes in English I actually tend to forget like definitions of stuff. But let me actually search it. It's TypeScript generics. Sorry, yeah, that's the generic type. Yeah. So that's it. I mean, now let's go back to this. So what I wanted to do actually is to show you that whenever I upload this and I use the content type of multipart data, whatever, the application still return undefined for that for some reason. There you go, undefined for the file. So the file is not passing at all, and in my backend I'm trying to get it from rec.file and rec.body and file. Oh, I have an idea. Rec.body should contain. I get the point now. So what? Oh, okay. So what it was like, if it's like this, which I don't understand, and then the body will contain. What did it contain in the backend? The extension contained title and file type into the request. Rec.body will contain only title and file type. Are you sure here? And file is external, basically. It's not in the body at all. But how can I require that? It's in the request.file. Okay, let me actually search this out. Maybe I don't understand how to call out multers. Let me just copy this and slap it to ChatGPT or something like that. I mean, for this reason itself, I don't understand. Maybe I have, yeah. Maybe I have something that I'm not aware of. Maybe, yeah, maybe this function itself is not written correctly, right? So the cleanup for this, it says that the fetcher function. Oh, all right. So body form data and is form data true token blah 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 blah. Yeah. So I'm not actually doing something wrong here. For mortar, you need to add something before the. I don't know honestly, but what do you mean by that? Maybe you can tell me. How can I get better at coding? I mean, you just code. I think what I'm doing right now, if I fix this, then I will never forget it because I stayed with it for like 2 days. Yeah. So that's how I get better. Pro Evils, do you have any idea about what is happening? I know that you are in the chat. So this is the front-end one that I did yesterday. So this is, I mean, is it the same link? I don't know. Yeah, the fetcher is waiting, so should be. So this is the file here, and I had the file into the form data, and I was thinking, yeah, the body will come with that, but rec.body, rec.file. Yeah, let me actually check one thing. I will actually show you an example of the server functions, server controllers, basically. For example, for this to do, the rec.user comes like that, and then if I want to get anything from the rec.something, for example, for adding it to do here, I would say, hey, that's a description from rec.body, right? And that will be added directly there. So for me, I need to find a way, actually. You know what? I can think about fixing this with just doing that. So I'll go upstairs, and instead of actually putting the file here, I will tend to put it inside the body, because why not, right? And then here, instead of saying, hey, get the rec.file from here, I would say rec.body.file. Oops. And this should fix the issue, because I don't see any. Okay, and then here I will do the body.file and see if this will work. I'll need to run on the server because probably Multer needs that. I'm not sure if you're using Multer already. Yeah, I'm using Multer here. All right. But yeah, maybe I am getting something wrong inside Multer. Yeah, but let me try this out. So now I'm trying to upload this, and the file is there, but it finds a bad request. Now let me see the bad request. It says payload is empty for some reason, missing audio file, still the same error. Interesting. But what I want to see now is that this add is undefined. Why? Because I'm trying to get direct.body.file. Let me try again. This is the add noise bar. Let me go to my function for adding a noise. And here, am I actually appending this into the form data? Yes. So the form data will be, you know what? So here what I'm seeing, and not there, it needs to be here. What I'm seeing is the body needs to be a file type, file type, and then file itself, right? So what I'm gonna do, oh man, what I'm gonna do is just I'll do API/noises. I'm not gonna append these like that. I'm gonna use them directly. So instead of doing this, I'll open this one. I'll say file, and that can be form data. And then I will go here and I will do it as if I have it in the backend. So in the backend, I have in the body title, file type, and file, right? So I'll go here title and something, right? Let's go back to that file type, something, right? And then here for sure that. And then I will z-top this so you can see with me. So now I will copy exactly this. So here we go. This is the title of this. Hopefully this will work, right? And noise dot types should be, because it's a file, should be nice. Okay, noise dot type. And then file data form data of string. Okay, so now it says type parameter is not sub to type string. Why it should be string? Should be probably because it should be the path or something like that. Interesting. Okay, let me just do noise.path just for the sake of it. And then swarm data, I'll just, I don't need it. All right, this one also I don't need it. I just want to see that in action. I want to see it in the the backend basically. A lot of people watching in TikTok. That's nice. Let me also look here. Formidable Multer, blah blah. Show what you're using Multer. I don't think you're using it. You need to. Okay, let me show you what I mean with Multer. So what I'm with Multer here, I am doing. Here you go. So it's express Multer file here, and this is where it is used only. I think I'm not using it correct. You are correct here. So can you share maybe the docs about that? But maybe I can share that as well. I can search that. But before that, I will share my screen to just show you what I'm doing. So what I did right now is just changed like the body part to see what it happens. So I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna save that, and I'm gonna push, and then the add will have missing audio file. But at least now I have the file type and title. But the only thing that I don't have here is the path for some reason. And even though that I passed it here, though, I called it file. Yeah, because it's not correct, right? It should be form data here, or the noise itself, right? Oof, hopefully that's correct, but let me submit again. And here you go. Ooh, 1 second. Payload. Oh. Payload now is a bit different, and the file is empty, you see. Why is that? Because I don't know, honestly. Failed to add the noise. Now it's a different one. Failed to add the noise. Let me see what is that. Okay, so some guys said check if the form has inc type of multipart / form data, otherwise the rec file is not accessible. And other guy said you passed form data into file. By the way, let me just show you. Here we are on Twitch, and also I need to pop this chat. Let me just pop it so I can see everything on the right. Pop chat. So this is gonna be here. Okay, cool. And now we are going to the application. I'm gonna actually to take off what you are seeing here, so you see only my code. And this one, now for some reason I have a problem. Oh, I have a glaze happening, which is Glaze WM, is like a tool to help me change between screens, and now it's stuck. Let me actually rerun it. Okay, do you guys see my screen? Everything is good, right? All right, cool. It's actually not working anymore now. Yeah, there's another instance of it. For some reason I cannot switch between my screens now, but yeah, nevertheless we will fix it out. I like this, it just happened like that. Alright, let's wait for a second while I actually look at the stream that it's working fine. That's cool. I'll also check this part where here our friend shared with us how this should be working. Okay, that's what I kind of did. File upload with fetch and express API input example. Keep it very simple. The Multer, I want to be able to log the file into the node endpoint just.js. Okay, so import that event lesson or change. So that's the input part, and then upload part, post part, body should be form data. So that's the part where we are correct. And then the Multer part should be upload, and then upload.single, and that's fine. And we upload the single file, and then we just get the directed file and send that file received, right? For some reason that's what I did, but let's do it again. Let's rewrite it. But before all of that, let me actually stop something and rerun it. Where is the Glaze WM? Where is this? End task. Okay, I have, I will show you that. I have it as a, alright, seems to be there, but as middleware. I am seeing now some problems with my task manager, and I'm trying to solve it. Sorry guys, I'm just in a hurry for this. 1 second. A lot of people on TikTok though. Yeah. What am I building? That's like the most. Can someone actually try to explain to them what we are building here? It's just an application on basically it's called Study With Me, or basically Noise Seeker, or whatever you want to call it. What we do here is just we are trying to add a noise, which means add an MP3 file to the backend part. And seems like I have a problem now with my OBS. It's just crazy. Yeah, okay, let me just reload some config, show config folder. All right, no problem then. Seems pretty easy. Yeah, maybe. So Piotr here said that he's actually needing help to implement Auth and Next.js app and Stripe. I think Next.js is very, very, very good with NextAuth. Try to do that, because NextAuth, it has the correct packages and it will implement as a Lego piece. So That's what I heard, and I also saw it like happening very good. If you actually check the T3 stack, it's actually implemented by default, so you can see it in action. Yeah. For some reason, I'm not able to do anything now with my PC. Yeah. Let me change that. Glaze. Interesting. I'm trying to find like some processes to just delete, and they are just hidden. Oh man, what the hell. All right. Some guy said from 0, and then he uses library. What do you want me to do? Like use something else? Like create my own Zod or hooks, or create React from 0, or what exactly? Yeah. So the only thing that I'm seeing now is popping up wrongly is this Glaze WM, which is like a tiling program that I have working on Windows, and now it's just went berserk. Yeah, I stopped it, but still it's not doing anything. So interesting. Yobogawa said that he's still actually stuck doing Hello World. I mean, you're not alone, don't worry about that. You're really not alone. Sorry guys, I need to fix something very quick and then go back to this. But I'm reading your comments, so that's good. Yeah, let me just find something. I have a VM, like some problems also with my talent manager that broke up my whole thing, that I'm trying not to actually exit OBS while doing this, so be careful. Interesting. Yeah. All right. Okay, I found it. Now we can end the process for that. Seems like it's now done. Alright, now we still need to finish up with some stuff. Here you go. I'm like chasing all the processes that are working with this application. Now it worked out. Now, nice. Okay. Cool, man. Now it will look bad because OBS stopped for some reason. Let me check. This needs to be 2. This needs to be here. No, actually we didn't stop anything. It's just that we lost the we lost the terminal. Yeah. This is amazing. That's super amazing, man. Okay. Let me just go back to normal tiling. Oh man. Okay, cool. Now let me see if I can actually share my screen. That's good. Now I can share my screen again. But yeah, awesome. So now I need just to go to terminal again and see if you are actually seeing the correct one. So now we lost the terminal, but yeah, we can do another instance for that, so no problem. It will be actually fine. All right, cool. So WSL. I'm actually setting it up right now, so just bear with me, guys. All right. Yeah, nice. So this is the env board, and this is the PM rundev. Yeah, so it will work, I think, on the wrong. Yeah, cool. Let me stop that. So what I'm gonna do now is just refresh the terminal. I have two of them, two Tmux terminals basically. Yeah, sorry, I actually lost also your comments, but now they are back. I'm pretty sure the type of noise and type of file are mismatched. Yeah, I will just look into that right now. Okay, so that's correct. Actually, I might be passing the wrong type between string and file. So that also can be really a big issue, right? So we need to check it out. What do I think about Copilot? I think it's a really good tool. You just need to debug what you write with it. I think that's the only thing that stops me from using it much, because I need actually to debug a lot. Believe me, it's just too much, right? Now I'm trying to actually work on Tmux part. That's your comments, by the way. That's good that I can actually share them. And cancel this. Discard. Now you will see me black completely, and now you will see the code again. You see, we fixed it without refreshing everything. Yeah, so yeah, I get your point here when you said that. So if I go back to server and I go back to my application, here noises, and here you go. This is the one where I'm using, and here you go. The noise here, it's saying any, but if I go file, it says white noise file of any also. And why is that? Because when I went to the component and I went to add my noise, upload my noise basically, the data here should be using white noise file that comes from the schema itself as an information of type, and this uses the any here because there is no file like one from Zot basically, right? So for me, in order for me actually to do this, I used this possibility where I wanted to write my type of that file from Zod itself. But in this case, if it's not actually working, we might change it. But if that is fine here, I think this is not the problem, because here, when you add the noise, we can actually console log this, and I will show you what it returns. So this is the file itself, right? And let me just do it like this so we can see it correctly. Yeah. And yeah, let me show you now what it will return. So am I able now to do this? 1 second. Share my screen. Yeah, nice. Cool. So this is what will happen now when I go to the application and refresh this. Oh, by the way, this is still working from the other terminal, by the way, so I need to check to 4, because there is another instance of the terminal that is working right now, and it's just breaking. Let me check. So clear this out in npm run dev. This is working on 5174. Okay, and the app's crashed for some reason, and then rerun, and here we go. Fill in this. And here we are on the correct path, and then let me just add a file, submit this, and the ad says, hey, failed to add the noise. Why? Because the payload is actually messing with the file here, right? Okay, now I will actually go to the part where I actually wanted to check with the chatters from Twitch, and he shared with me some code that I might use. Yeah. Some guy said use BetterAuth for instead of NextAuth. So Peter, if you are still on TikTok, that's a better solution, by the way. And BetterAuth, I will actually show you BetterAuth now. This is it. And yeah, I actually heard about it. I never used it, but let me see how it works. So it has some plugins, two-factor plugins, which seems to be very cool. This is what you use on your client, and this is your auth.ts. And then, is there any docs? Here you go. Introduction. Let me just go to get started and installation directly. So you do install BetterAuth. You have a secret for that. Basically, generate secret. Okay, that's nice. And then you use BetterAuth as this function here. So this is your auth hook. And then if you are using SQLite, you need to export it with a database link, or basically if you do PostgreSQL, you need to open a connection pool. And let's see how it works. Actually, I don't see something different from NextAuth here. It's just maybe how it works, right? And yeah, Prisma here, and database Prisma adapter, Prisma provider, SQLite, and then BetterAuth generate, BetterAuth migrate, and here we go. Hey, this is this is what replaces my passportconfig.js basically. It has this enablement of the password here, and it actually has some client ID and stuff like that. Yeah, someone in the chat here said Decky style, actually a very good one, and I think you are right. He said, why are you trying to upload the noise file using JSON? Is that even possible unless you encode it? Yeah, I thought that will happen by default, because when I used like the content type of multi-port data form data, it didn't work because Multer actually pushed that out. But here you go. This is the issue when it receives undefined for the path. Must be type string perceived undefined. Okay. Now let me actually return this to be form data like it was before. Oh, I actually messed it up. Form data equal new form data. Form data dot append, and then we will append some stuff. So the file would be just the file itself, or the noise here. It could be the file, and then form data dot append. I think file path, that's file type, right? File type should be noise.type, because that can be retrieved. Okay, so now no overmatch for this. Let me just do it, and we'll read that in a second. Okay, so I will actually go to my get part here, see what it was. So it was noise.type and noise.name, and the file was the noise itself. Okay, interesting. Okay, so here what it was before, it was the noise like that, and here I had form data dot append as well, and here I just had title, and this title was the noise splitting by a dot, and then taken like the zero part of it. Yeah, here we go. And then instead of returning this as a JSON, shouldn't be, and this should be form data. So I'm returning it basically to what it was, so I don't have any problem. Okay, now I will take, I actually go live usually around 10 p.m. but today I actually started late. If you are on Discord, you will see me posting from now on. I'm using React, by the way. Do you think BetterAuth is worth using instead of AuthJS or Clerk? So Pre-Evils, this is a question for you. He said here, do you think BetterAuth is worth using instead of AuthJS or Clerk? Cool. So now let me just take off the screen from your head, and start actually coding what you guys suggested. So when you use a fetch here, you need to pass the body as the form data, and you can append the file as input.files of 0. So the funny part here, by the way, the input doesn't have file. I actually called the input ID, and if I go to show you this, the ID or the registry for this is white noise file, right? So this code, right? So that's fine to name it the same, and then of 0. So it's like the input whatever. So file is what is coming here as data, right? And file of that, right? I can actually show you here data with just console log in the noise. So I will just console log this, and you will see it. Let's go step by step so you actually believe what I'm doing. So now I will share again. So whenever I refresh this, I will add this now. I will add the file, right? Before I submit even, the file will be here, you see? So now I will submit, here you go. That's the file. That's the noise basically. If you cannot believe it here, I will actually do it as noise. Call it like with something in before it, and then I'll just submit again so you see the noise. So this is the noise. The type is audio MPEG. The name is this. And I got the name and I got this file and I created with it like a form data. So my form data of noise here. So let me just take off this again. Right. So we are on the clear here. So everything that comes from the form is correct. The noise is there. Everything is there. The thing that is not working for me is why this is 500 and why it's not working when I submit. So now if I go to the network tab and check why it doesn't work at all, actually, is because I changed actually the backend part, which is wrong now, to contain, instead of rec.file, it contains rec.body.file. So it should be rec.file and here as well. Right. You might ask me, but where is the Malta code, right? And here you go. Then I will go to routes, and I'll go to my route. The add noise part here. Let me just top this. So you see this part? Read it, please. Look at it and async use Malta. Oh, we have a subscription from our Lord friend here. Man, thanks a lot. I mean, I didn't see it until now. Thanks a lot. So this is gonna be like on the wall of fame, because he's the first subscriber ever for me, like on Twitch. So this is the first subscription that I ever had. Thanks, man. I mean, I really appreciate it. Sorry that I don't have like shenanigans or whatever that comes up, because I honestly feel like a boomer. I need to find a way to fix out my Twitch and make sure that I can see now these notifications whenever someone subscribes or whatever. But honestly, man, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Even though that everything, by the way, that comes to my subscribers, I will give it to charity, because honestly, I make good money lately. I'm really good. Like, I honestly just will give everything to charity. Probably it will go for a good charity then. So thanks a lot. Yeah. So here you go. This month I didn't make much though. I will show you. It seems like being normal. Can I see the camera? Where is my camera? Okay, I'll show you. So this is I cannot know, but it's stupid. So I made 9,600 from one job, and the other job I made 3,389. So total it was around 11,467. Cool. So that's good. I mean, I feel like good with that. Honestly, I feel like I'm blessed. Awesome, man. Thanks. Do you expect to find the audio key in the form data, but you actually send it to the user file key? Okay, that's a good one also. Sir, please help. All right, everybody on the chat right now, please give a correct, like full question so I can see it, because if you say, hey, can I ask a question, I won't really see it. Just ask directly, right? All right, let me read now Twitch again. So Decky Style said, I believe the problem is in that you expect the file to be uploaded with audio key in the form data, but you actually send it using the file key. All right, so the audio key, file key, so you are saying here, oh, so what about that upload single part? Isn't maybe that correct there? All right, so let me fix it then. What you are saying, okay, correct. Actually, maybe this is the one problem. Yeah. Should be audio. Or the opposite, right? Or the opposite. Let me try this. If this works, then I am really stupid. All right. I'm trying this, and then I will share my screen just for not sharing falsy data. So now it's not working. Yeah, the noise is there. The console is there. So this seems okay. Let me just do this submit again. I don't see anything on the network tab, so I hope that that's because, okay, so it's not working at all. Let me just run this again, and you're correct. I think instead of file, it should be either file or audio in there. Okay, I will return this to audio, and I will go here. It's called audio file, but then it asks for that. And by the way, this should be there as it was before. So either this becomes file. I need to console this. Audio file. I want to look at it. So now I'm trying to submit again and see if there's something will be in there. Sorry guys that you have to see this. Okay, so I don't see any logs here, so it's not even calling the part correctly, so there should be something wrong. Okay, so something wrong probably on the front end right now, because it's not passing at all, so it's returning. So my noise here is actually returning or saying something is wrong. Okay. Append new form data. The form data is title. File, we give the file as noise now. We kept this as that. Alright, let me see again. Exactly what ProEvil said. Okay, did you set the file name as audio or as file? The file name in here, it's file still. So what I did, as I changed with you, this part here in the route, now to be file. Okay, instead of audio, it's now file. Okay, so it does add the noise at the end, and the add the noise will be rec.file. Okay, interesting. Now what I'm paranoid about is that it's not returning anything. So it's saying error event in where? App crashed, right? Here you go, run this again, run that, starting, and everything is good. Now I will try to refresh this. All the other APIs are working unless I do just a file. Okay, the file, I'll share with you my screen so you can see. Some guy said I'm going to the Twitch. Thanks, man. You should. All right, so here you see the file here. So this is the console log that is from the front end, but when I submit, there is no network actually here at all. So this happened to me because probably there is in the front end. Okay, let me open a new okay, you know what, open a new tab, and this tab will be the front end part, because now I am hopping a lot between a lot of files and I'm honestly hating it. API/noises. So now I can just do tab next like this. All right, cool. All right, so this is the one here that's saying that, and then when I pass it as form data directly, it just breaks. Path. Maybe the path is missing, that's why. Interesting. Okay, you know what? I'll just do this as any for now. So I don't care about what returns. So I can see things up. Alright, let me refresh again. I'm going to upload this, submit, so nothing happening. Console.log. Or you know that for off, right? For off key value of form data, my friend, and then console.log. Sorry to do this, but I will just share with you again the code so you can follow up. Jonathan said start from the last working function. I'm not getting any errors on the console. Actually, it's not even firing anything here. That's why I actually did this form data part. I'm just gonna do like a key value pair stuff to see just if it's working or not, because honestly I think that this is actually stopping here because it's not finding the noise. File dot white noise file, and this should be uploads. So here everything is good. So white noise file, this is, I'm not going to look into it anymore. Yeah, because that's it, type of file, and the ID is white noise file. That's why I do file dot white noise, so 0. That will get me, maybe that was the issue, because I'm actually doing a check on it. Let me try. Let me check. All right, I'm doing this again, and I'm going actually to console log that whenever I upload the file. Submit. Okay, it's actually the console log is not passing, so this one is showing, but then when I create this one, this is not working at all. Interesting. I might actually write in this wrongly. Maybe guys you can help me out with this, but is there something wrong with this form data? Maybe the type part is wrong. Not really. Interesting. What kind of app are you building? Oh my gosh. It's just right now we are building like small functionality. Yeah. Don't you get some errors in the console? I'm not getting anything, honestly. Change it in Multer instead. Yeah, correct. Okay. Now I am worried about what is happening here. You know what I might do here is that I'm going to, because it was working for some reason, so I might actually go to my controller part, to my API part here, and just discard everything that I did. So I'll discard the changes. So this was before, and if there is no noise as console, and therefore cons key value all form data of entries, that's what was actually also a problem. And then I'm gonna do this again. Okay, now I see, now it works for some reason on there. Okay, now I might check again with this form data. All right, so I will share my screen. I'll do this. I'll go here. I'll fetch a new file. This is the name of the file here. Submit. And it says, hey, there is no file. Let me just upload one. Submit and add. And it says payload. Payload is empty. Preview, missing audio file. Response, missing audio file. And for some reason, it's undefined. It's undefined. So if you want to also see one more thing, it's just the console log here. it's return and title, file type audio MPEG, which is correct, right? What's your entire skill set? I actually do front end mostly, right? So when I say front end, I'm doing React and whatever comes with it, like state management. I'm doing basically Redux at work and some Zustand also, or Zustand. And honestly, that's it. Nothing much more to that. I am interested also in DevOps. I do sometimes some pipeline configuration, and yeah, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So you're saying the content type, right? The content type should be JSON, correct, in the fetcher function. But the moment, let me go there here. Yeah, it's application JSON, right? But I can change this to be something here like content type. Not really, right? Content type is empty, and then it just headers, you mean, right? Headers is empty, but it merges here application JSON. So I will actually add it as a content type, add it as another there you go, content type. It's actually not necessarily there, and it will be string, right? And here in our application of content type something, I will just do content type. Otherwise it will default for something else, right? And then that content type can be here, content type. And you know what? It will just be, instead of defaulting there, it will default here, right? And then this one all can be deleted. That's correct, right? That's correct, yeah. So then I don't have any problem. Then here I can just say content type, right? Directly, even without the header, because now that can be yeah, can be just a prop. And here you go. When I do form data for, or not form data, multi-part form data, multi-part slash form data, that should work, right? I'm actually sharing my screen also, right? Here you go. Before I go and show you what had happened, that's what I did. So I came here and I changed the code like that. You can take a look at it while I'm trying something new. And yeah, you can tell me, can I learn Java for a week? I don't think that's actually a good thing. Fingers crossed, right? Yeah, fingers crossed. Okay, now I'll try it. Submit. So it's not working at all. Let me go to my network tab and see what is happening. So this is what I read, all right? This is what I read before you guys come to the to the chat, is that I'm sharing now. If I use content type with Multer, what I saw is that, let me go here, is that you don't need to use that prevent. So you, this content type part prevents Multer to work. So what you need is to delete this part and leave a body as a form data like that, which is the best thing that I was doing. Otherwise you will face this issue where you go network and then you find the adding here saying, hey, boundary not found, and the payload will be empty by default, right? Yeah, I did that part also, but then yeah, that's the part of okay, the header here destruct. Okay, you're right, actually. Let me just do this. That's all we changed, right? But yeah, still a problem here. So whenever I don't use that, now I'm not using that header part, and Multer will work, will function correctly, basically. The only thing that is not functioning correctly, now it will just say, hey, the header is empty. There is nothing but missing audio file. That's the only thing that is missing. So we can check on the backend though, what is the audio file part. So here rec.file is not passing at all. Maybe rec.file dot something. you know what I'm gonna do here? I'm gonna check, so undefined for rec.file, so I'm gonna console log the whole rec and see why it's missing. So I will push this out. Here, missing audio file still, but here you see like there's another part where it crashed saying, okay, it's not, oh, there's another port in use. What is happening? Am I running? Now I'm pushing this again. The adding saying there's an error. The payload is empty for some reason. And the console logs are not passing correctly, but this is what we have in the backend. Let me just take off my screen from there so you can see as well. So you can see hopefully, right? This is the correct part of what we are receiving, user stuff, which is odd to see it there. And then file, body is empty, so now we see that body coming to the backend as empty, but is there a file coming up here? Let me just, oh, there is no file actually. Body is empty. All right, this is the route that we are working on. Okay, it's called file in Multor or audio. It's called I can show you that. It's called now file. It's not audio anymore. Yeah, so now I'll submit again. Yeah, by the way, I'm not seeing my console logs anymore here for that part. Actually, I'm not seeing my, okay, I'm seeing my console logs. Sorry for that. Now I'm seeing everything correctly, but now network and the adding saying missing file or the form data is empty. You leaked auth token. Don't worry about the auth token. They regenerate every 4 hours, so everything will be good. And that auth token is just for that user, so it is on his local storage basically. So that's correct. Now when I actually do this part and I want to console log that, the rec.file doesn't exist at all because it's undefined, so that's the problem. Maybe because this is all of type, should be of type file list, right? The body should be of type maybe file list directly, or express Multor file. Can we just talk about this? Maybe this is the issue. Maybe the issue is actually not on the front end, the issue actually residing in the backend part. Try rec.files with an S. Actually, never mind. Okay. Yeah. I'm literally clueless about this now. Honestly, it's just too much. Submit. Yeah. So the body itself, it's coming as empty. Why should be that the case when in here the body is equal to that form data? Should I do form data.entries or something like that? Should I maybe change this to file? Not really, it throws an error as big as my head. Should I maybe return this to be, okay, so file should be containing here the file, the name, everything. Yeah, that actually shouldn't be there. Let me just try again. Console log. So now in the console, what I'm seeing when I doing that, as you see my friends on the right side here, here you go. When I submit, here you go. File type is that pre-launch time that I'm actually doing. Audio/MPEG. The file itself, which can do last modified at, name, size, blah, blah, blah. And this is form data, right? When I go now to application, basically, network tab here, the add part here says, hey, your payload is empty. You should pass the form data as it is, but considering that you do not need to pass explicitly content type as multi-thread, you will need to verify content type in the fetcher settings under the hood. Not really, I don't need that. I think the fetcher function is just like, think about it as a use fetch hook from React. It just executes and search for errors basically, and just fires up, and it is used in all the application with add inscription, whatever. Oh, by the way, 1 second. I actually have an idea here. Could it be that we don't use rec.file? Could it be that we use rec as a request directly, right? Could it be that we don't use that and we get rec.body directly, right? And the rec.body now is basically a form data, right? And then we just console log that here. Could that be also the issue? Because maybe this interface is wrong correctly, right? I will try this. It seems like to be also a good idea, right? Sorry guys for letting you actually. Okay, same shit. Failed to add the noise now, at least. It's not saying missing noise. But what I need to check now is my backend is actually undefined. Rec.body is undefined. Add in the noise, it says the path must be type of string received undefined. Oh yeah, so we received undefined here, so it's just still empty. Interesting. So basically what I did now is just berserk. Okay. It's not rec.body, it should be rec.file, and let's not play with this anymore then. So this is what I was there. It was add sound requests. So this interface, do you think that the interface is wrong? Content type should be application JSON, as we are using Multer. That's what I saw. I meant to check the request headers in the network tab, because you are basically wrapping the native fetch function in your own. Fetch should set content type automatically based on the payload you pass. Okay, so what you're saying here is that whenever I actually upload the file, so this is the part here, I need to check the network tab here and see for the headers part. All right, so content type is text plain, it's saying, which is wrong also, right? Maybe that also the issue here. I don't think so. What I see the issue is why this is empty, right? Why form data doesn't give that anything. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is that retrieve everything here. No, not really, just that's how it is. Okay, API, so that should be fine. Fetcher function, that fetch function, I will discard everything from it. The noises part here, that's fine. Actually, I will do rec.file. Okay, audio file seems to be fine there. So instead the route is fine with file there. Noise is file, correct. I'm gonna try again. I just undo some of the stuff. And then I have another ad which has application JSON content type right now, and it says still missing audio file. You are seeing the front-end code, don't worry about that. Here you go. I'll open the front-end code here, and this is gonna be API/noises. This is the part where it is empty, basically. The body is empty because of that form data being empty. You cannot send file via post with a header. Man, I think this guy doesn't understand that inside here we have a Multer middleware. So the Multer middleware does that for us. So upload single file. You see, this Multer part lets you get the express Multer file from here and pass it to the request.file, right? Whenever you use that from your front end. Now the problem that we are facing is that even though that we pass the body to be this form data, right, it's still wrong, right? And that's it. That's all what we are facing now. Even though that whenever I actually go to the my console to see what is the file, basically it tells me, hey, here's your form data.entries, don't worry about it, everything is there. All right, so now I think it's the moment where we ask the GPT. So yeah, man, fuck it. Because that's something that I'm not sure of. All right, so now Decistyle is saying an important note for sending files with Fetch API: one needs to omit content type header for the fetch request. Then the browser will automatically add the content type header including the form boundary, which looks like content type multipart blob boundary, whatever. And that's correct. This totally makes sense, and it definitely, the content type should be multipart form data set by Fetch automatically. All right, so what you're saying here is that if I go to this part of the front end and I show you my fetcher function, right, you will see here that it will always do application JSON as that. So what I'm gonna do, right, to just make things better, is to add the header here again, headers of content type multipart / form dash data, right? But this still is problematic for us, because let me see here what is happening. All is good, right? Okay, I'm gonna try this again, refresh this page. Are you sure type form data is not an object? JavaScript is weird. Let me see this. Const form data is form data of m data. Holy shit, this is the weirdest. Here you go. Yeah, it's form data basically. It's form data of type form data. It's just oh man, I have to go top. Yeah, here you go. Form data of form data. Yeah, so all good. Yeah, you can make sure here as well. Form data as a class, right? Form data entry values, string or file. That should work, but it throws a lot of errors, so I will just leave it like that. So now we will try this. Why not, right? Data, it's 500 now, saying, hey, boundary not found. Maybe I need to search for this one and see why, right? So that's saying that multipart boundary, wherever solution is to use the headers content type of multipart, do not do this. It says, hey, oh, if it's form data, if it's not form data, if it's not, let me check what is happening. Oh, I have actually an idea. This is a stupid idea, but it might be actually working. So I'll add here is form data, right, to be a boolean, and I would say, hey man, this is stupid, but what we're gonna lose, right? Is form data true, then and then or I will delete that, paste it here, and actually append the headers of all of this, yeah, into like another object. So basically what I'm gonna do, say this, here you go, merge headers, right? If is form data, let me try that, right? If is form data is correct, then content type will be that. Sorry, I did wrongly. It should be otherwise what, like add nothing? That's wrong for some reason. Expected what here? This should be also into like let me just do this as empty, right? Okay, you know what, I'll just do this as an empty there, and I will surround all of this with parentheses. And then what else should I do? I should destructure this. This is where JavaScript becomes really weird. No, I meant this one actually, is form data. Cannot find these for, here you go, it's there. Yeah, okay, so it means that here it doesn't find it. Form data is a string, is a boolean. Boolean or null. Okay, boolean or null. You get my point here, what I'm trying to do, right? Oh, sorry, it's one. And here it's equal, by the way. You see how tired I am right now? So yeah, it makes sense. So basically it will destructure this. Yeah, otherwise I'll just do this before, right? Cool. So then headers, whatever comes in next, right? So here is form data is equal true. You get my point, right? Makes sense. Does it make sense for you guys? Okay, cause type body instance of form data and defined application. Well, undefined here is really bad. We were just destructure nothing basically, and then it will work, right? Our friend here shared something. File upload image. Let me just show you what ProEvil shared with us. He said, okay. Oh man, how can I zoom this too much? Let me just, I cannot zoom it. Oh man. Okay, so I can download this. Copy image, open image, copy image address. Let me just do it like that. Okay. So what our friend here shared with us is a really good React code for form data that is also passed in All right, I will actually take that after I just try. So I'll share my screen just for a second for you guys to understand what is happening. A reverse condition, how much are your services manually normally? Katie said, how much are your services normally? They're not that much. Just contact me if you need something. Cool. Reverse condition, Python idle. Guys, are you talking about Python in a JavaScript project? What would be application JSON? Yeah, it shouldn't be application JSON if it's file upload. Oh, wait a second. If it's file upload, it shouldn't be application JSON. Oh yeah, sure. You saved my ass. Yeah, if it's not, then that will be that, right? Correct, right? Cool. So this is what our friend here shared with us. So basically he said, handle change should be of event of target of files. That's what we're doing. And it's a change event on a HTML input element, which is also correct, or maybe HTML input file element. If a selected file, then blah, 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 that's okay. This is where we are actually now interested in. So the file part, append the file, selected file. The body will be the form data. All right, sorry for that. I just need to do this. And then here, sorry, I will just go to zoom in the other part. Maybe that's not what I wanted to show you. Here you go. The post body form data, and he doesn't do any headers, by the way. Let me see. Headers, no headers. And if response okay, then that. If not, then this. As simple as that. So we only need the file, probably. Okay, cool. Thanks a lot for sharing. We will try it just right now. Okay. Okay, if you run into the same issue, just try removing JSON parse body and pass body originally. Okay, so if I do the same issue, so let me just do this again. So here you go. I'm refreshing this, and then if let's do the console again to see the console first. This is the file. Here you go. Now it's a form data, audio MPEG, blah blah blah. So now we have still a bad request. We go to our network, we go to our ad. It says missing file. All right. So content type is still application JSON. That's the problem. So maybe it's because of the body now, right? Yeah. All right. So what I'm gonna do is still in this fetcher function. If there is a body and the type of body is object, then JSON stringify that body. Otherwise, body. I mean, this is correct. Okay, so my body is defined correctly here. So what I'm gonna show you is this. So it still actually is form data. Let me check. Form data is true. So if form data, if it's not form data, so if there is no form data, we can just flip this sideways, but that's fine. And is form data is null. If there is no form data, then the content should be that. Interesting. Let me try it one more time. Yeah, so it's working with add to dos and stuff. So that code is working correctly because to dos and add to dos or whatever are actually using a body of preview body response proverb headers content application JSON basically. But when it comes to form data, the adding of the form post bad request and the content type is still application JSON. Yeah, so we can print that, right? We can just, we're actually printing this here. So if the form data should be fine. Post token is form data. Oh, by the way, I did a mistake here. No, it's fine. So, any other guesses, guys? Yeah, so ProEvil said, I'm not sure you will need all these complications. All right, is form data an object? Maybe that is what is happening here. Yeah, so you know what? Okay. I will do just another end, just a type of body is not equal. What is a form data type? Form data. What is the form data type, by the way? Just that or no, right? Form data. Okay, I will ask ChatGPT because that's probably. Or you know what? We won't do it like this. We will do it just exactly with the isForm data part. And because isForm data is wrong, is null basically. And then if body and type of that and isForm data, then body type of, yeah, what is happening here? This all maybe needs to be surrounded by, oops, this all needs to be surrounded by this maybe. It's fine, man. So it's not form data. For some reason it's not doing my stuff. All right, so it says, hey, type record string body in it, which is null, is not of type. Ah, okay, for sure. Or form data or file list. I don't know what is even the type of form data. Type of form data, I don't know even what is that. Yeah, what is the type of form data in JavaScript? The application about now is focusing on adding files into a database basically, and we're trying to add the form data part, but the thing is that I don't seem to find the type for the form data. So just form data, right? Const fd console log type of fd logs object. So that's your issue. That correct. I mean, that could be my issue 100%. Yeah, I get your point. I don't know why we didn't check that. Haya is trying to actually help us here. I thought so, that's why she said, that's why I thought too. It's TypeScript, by the way, JavaScript, TypeScript. Yeah, sorry that I'm not actually answering. Sometimes I just go into the code and try to answer the comments later on. All right, so I'll actually go here and try to edit that part. Yeah. So now we need to find a way. I'm just logging this into Google to see what we can do there. Actually, form data is just type form data, it says, right? Interesting. So that could be also a type, right? Form data as a variable, as an interface. Type record string is not scalable to type body in it, blah 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 blah, because that. Okay, so we still see the same error because maybe. Oh man. Oh, by the way, 1 second, and is not form data. So we. You know what? I will delete all of this to see what will be the issue now. Yeah, so that correct, right? All right, let me try that. And make sure the body is not part pure. Okay, That's a good guess, but I think we solved that because body init actually contains all the types. And the thing is that we are saying now, and it's not form data basically, which means that it will return the correct type. All right, so now let me actually rerun the whole thing because I feel that my front end is buggy a bit. Let's see it. Put any type as a test. Yeah, that should work as well. Why didn't I think about it? You are smarter. So app crashing, npm dev. Yeah, I have another terminal running somewhere, and when my PC crashed, I couldn't fix it. Right, there you go. You see? Already in use, it says. Man. Yeah, it's something with my backend. I need to kill all the instances of this, and then let me just do it right now for the last part. If it doesn't work, then I'll kill all the instances of my terminal, and then we start again. Okay. Sorry guys, I think that I am boring you right now. I'm doing that right now. Terminal. Let me go to apps. In performance, startup, history, processes. This is what I'm looking for. Terminals, terminal, PowerShell. Basically, I'm running PowerShell on the side. So terminal, I have 4 instances that I'm gonna end the task for. And then I'm just gonna do terminal again. So you won't see anything now. So it's just gonna be there in a second. So don't worry, guys. You will be able to see it. Now it's black. Black and white. Now it's back. Okay. So now we are running WSL again. We need to get rid of this other instance of all of that, and then let's do CWS. We are on Tmux, right? No, Tmux first. Let's create another one there. We call it develop, and then this one we call it main. I'm now calling the instances of Tmux, and then I'll go here, that, and vim, not really, and vim dot. Then go here, and we'll go to the same part, and then npm run dev. Now it will work fine. Tuck, 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 tuck. I think all good, right? No. What is happening? Address is already in use. I actually killed all the... Now I am really not happy with what is happening. I killed all the terminal instances. All PowerShell instances, I didn't kill them. Sorry for that. And task. Terminal. Npm run dev. Now also we still have the same issue. Yeah. Expresslib, JavaScript, whatever. Interesting. Very interesting. Let me call all terminals then. Expand. Tmux is going. Runtime is going. Okay. Terminal. PowerShell. Sorry guys, this seems to be the issue that we're having today is just because of something happened in the early stream when we started. My Glaze WM actually crashed, and then if you are actually wondering also what is Glaze WM, it's a tiling manager, and what it does, it helps me actually tile my whole screen to like different pages, which is really cool. It helps a lot, but now it's actually dragging me down. So terminal should be and we will need to fix this now. Processes are all the processes are in front of me, but I still see like a big issue. Terminal, PowerShell. All right, so terminal here is having Tmux with the white noise open. I'm gonna end that task and then see if there is another terminal. Yeah, here you go, runtime broker. collapse or end task, please. Now let's try again. Guys probably now say to me, please close all of this. Nice. Guys, this is why we just use a Mac. It just works. Yeah, I think so. That that will work there. Actually, that's correct. I actually will be able to do it on WSL as well. Alright, I don't know. Let me just do this. npm run dev. You know, my keyboard won't work on a Mac, and it's a split keyboard that is really strange. I need to work on Linux or basically Windows. But Mac is Mac, right? Let me see now. Would it work? Cool. So now that it's working, let me run tmux again. Now we are good. For people who are here for the first time, they'll be like, what is he doing? PS aux grep node. I'm using NeoVim as a terminal, by the way. You know, whenever I do anything about coding, people actually join the live stream. Deck style, you are right. You are totally right. He said that depends on the distro, so we cannot trash all Linuxes. You can say, yeah, that distro is bad, but this one is not. Yeah, I hate the distro called Mint, something Mint. That one, I hated it because it doesn't accept any kind of USB 3 stuff. So if you have a keyboard that works on 3.1 or something like that, it will be a big issue. Yeah. So now we are here, and we decided that everything might be not working because our front end here is not working correctly. So now we will test it. We put the test, and I'm going to just do it in a second. So let's do it. So let's go to our local host and upload this noise, and let me just open this. Let me tell you, so you can follow with me here, so you can see what is happening on Multer. Okay, so console log, and we still have 500 now. And the network tab is saying 500 is because the payload is there. Nice. So the preview failed to add the noise. So now at least the payload is passing, but it's still the content type of it is application JSON for some reason. Yeah, so let me just add this to show you what happened. So now I'm adding, oh, wait a second, this worked. Oh, what? Wait a second, I clicked twice, one worked. Oh, this saying noises already exist, but this one said failed to add the noise for some reason, but this one saying upload noises successfully. Fuck yeah, right? I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm really happy, but I'm really also upset because it is my fetcher function. So if I actually kept working with Axios or whatever, it will just do it automatically. Okay, let me read your comments now. I'm not a backend dev, I'm more of a front-end dev, but thanks, Nemo, for answering. Is this JavaScript? Yes, it is. Oh my gosh. Oh, fuck. Like, but now we need just to do this and actually disable this button when it's loading, right? So I cannot do this multiply, and oh, okay, it works actually. So here it says file added here, and then are you guys seeing my screen? Yeah, good. And then this one is not yielding because yeah, this is the create part, which says yeah, this exists based on title. That's perfect. Okay, at least. Let us try with, oh, thanks for the 50 bits. I honestly don't understand anything about this bit stuff. You guys can explain to me. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, this is Twitch, by the way. If you guys want to go into on Twitch, we had today very good news. We had our first subscriber on Twitch. I never thought in my 10 years, not 10 years, 2 months doing this, that I will actually have a subscriber or have people watching me code. By the way, we have 74 people watching on TikTok, and they are all communicating. They're all talking. They're all sharing their ideas. And honestly, I cannot thank you enough. And yeah, that boosts my mood, even though that I'm slow, right, with stuff sometimes, all the time. I can say that. Now let me read some of the comments from Pro Evils. I honestly trust this guy a lot. He's a senior JavaScript developer. Whatever opinion that he has, I value it. And he's on Twitch. He's saying that all right, well, let me say, you will run into jank one way or another when you're using Linux. I think you're here talking about Linux. Okay, from drivers to config to software support or something else. Linux tech tips did Linus is this channel or something? Are you talking about use Linux challenge? Even him, someone that okay, so that's a channel, yeah. Kept running into non-stop problems. Wow. Okay, isn't this the guy that uses the guy that shows like stuff when it comes to PCs, sweet like monitors and FPS stuff? I think he used to talk about Diablo a lot and how it's junky in the beginning, and then he started into gaming. And thanks a lot, Pro Evils is now our top tier 1 subscribers. Thanks a lot. I promise you guys tomorrow I will do this notifications part so you guys can subscribe and you can hear it in the stream. All right, cool. So now we need to try something. I hid something from you when I actually did this application. The thing that I hid, oh okay, the big PC YouTuber. Okay, so he talks a lot about PCs. Nice. What system are you developing? Basically, I'm developing an application with we can use a NeoVim if that's what you're talking about. I have my .files somewhere, and some guy is asking me if I can recover his Instagram account. I'm really a boomer. I don't even have an Instagram account. I have one for this async stack one, but I'm not using it every day. Here is the start of the series I mentioned. Okay, so this is the start of the series.
Celebrate the exciting launch of Windows.
I'm glad that I have premium, so you don't see any ads here. Are you listening, by the way? Can you listen, guys, to this when I share my screen now? Are you guys listening? So he's talking more about oh, it's actually also selling something. Okay, so you're listening, right? Is the voice clear? Is there any... Okay. Is this better? Is there any... Because I actually have... Okay, so I need actually to do... okay, I think you guys are hearing it because of my mic. I need to also do that part. So let me try to do this on Twitch properties. So for the desktop part, yeah, I think you can be hearing this if I just do this, then run this. Yeah. Now I need to turn off my mic. So basically my solution here is just to mute myself whenever I'm hearing something on YouTube. So let me know if it works perfectly. If it works perfectly, then yeah, all good. Thanks a lot, guys. Let's watch this video. Let's watch it. It's 20 minutes though. And I'm trying also, I will try to wrap up this to be a bit upper volume, and let's try again. All right, Pro Evils, tell me if this is the new volume that is good and better. I won't think that I will get a ban. I'm not saying anything about this video. I'm just watching something that is public online, so I won't think that I will get anything. And this video is not gonna be anywhere. It's just gonna be a live stream later on.
Make these decisions for me. But the point of this challenge is that Luke and I should be using the exact same resources that anyone else would have. And with that in mind, right out of the gate, I would forgive the average gamer for making it as far as Google hit #1 for best Linux distro for gaming and bailing on the entire deal. I mean, nothing against the author of this article. I did pick up some really useful information, but it is full of jargon that a non-Linux enthusiast couldn't possibly be expected to know, not to mention seemingly conflicting information. How is it that Ubuntu can be simultaneously easy to use and beginner-friendly and a hassle to set up? Another big one is that...
I mean, I get his point here. What I think that he's trying to say is that Linux is not for everyone. And what he also highlighted is that many gaming packages isn't easily installable. Is that your like that's not even the goal of someone installing Linux? If you install Linux, you won't be having the goal to install games, unless you're, I don't know, developing games at this point. So it's just too much things that I don't think that for the nerd, something that he wants to hear, I would probably skip this. But yeah, he's just, yeah, as he said here, he's just shown like how contradictable is it to use Linux for gaming, you know, like, yeah, it says beginner friendly and also hard to set up, which means that it's not a beginner friendly. Yeah, it is not. Why the fuck would you play games on Linux? That's a nonsense. Yeah, but that's what he highlighted. Like, look at this, like many gaming packages easily installable. What's that for? Like, this is for can be unstable. That's okay. This is also another thing that I might also highlight. I mean, you install the LTS version. What is LTS stands for? The limit, not the last stable version or something like that, right? So we always actually install the stable version for anything. So what does that even mean? I mean, unless you are playing with Arch Linux, right? Yeah, long-term support. Thank you for that. All right, let's continue watching this. Maybe I will just go to Linux distro choice. Linux distro choice. It's OS setup. Now he's talking about the setup. Luke games. Okay, he's trying games on Linux. All right. So here choosing a distro is confusing. Okay, let's continue just this part and also the choosing of the choice. Other than that, OS setup, I think we're not interested. All right, let's continue. I'm muting myself.
Customization gets billed as this major selling point for Linux, and fair enough if that's your thing, but speaking on behalf of normies, I don't want a dozen novel ways to do the same thing. I want one fast, easy one. I mean, it's horrible when Microsoft scatters system settings all over the place. I think we all agree on that. And so we should all agree that it's horrible when anybody else does it. I mean, I'm the kind of person who doesn't even rename my video game characters because it makes it a nightmare to look anything up if I get stuck. And there are a ton of other red flags. Let's move on to hit number 2 here, this time from TechRadar. Supports several controllers should not be a selling point for a gaming-focused product. It seems to imply that most of my stuff won't work. And included games are not the reason that anyone chooses an operating system. How are these articles so out of touch? Furthermore, the messaging around what makes an individual distro stand out compared to the other ones gets really muddy in some places. Like the way that these articles are often laid out, it sounds like if...
All right, so again, he's actually mentioning this about pre-installment part. And also here, the desktop environment comes with GNOME, which is probably here talking about package management systems, UIs, and stuff like that. Who cares? If you install Linux, the first thing that you want to install yourself and you want to feel more powerful with is to have packages, basically, which means that you can install your own package manager. You can install your, let's say for me, I use Brew, for example. Brew, and maybe I have other package manager installed at the same time. but that makes me more powerful. I don't care about what I have pre-installed is there. But also, Pro Evils mentioned something which I really not agree fully with. Every NVIDIA or every AMD chip made is actually made by IBM. For some reason, IBM is behind everything that they both do, but they come with good like engineers, they come with good ideas, with good science, right? But IBM is actually doing chips for both of them. And you know, actually now when it comes to, for example, consoles like Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, when they want to release something, they contact IBM saying, hey, when you do these chips for GPUs or CPUs or whatever, do them exactly the same, but probably different, maybe threading, different type of whatever, but it's the same kind of stack. So basically at the end, you will have the best performance not so far from each other. Imagine if, for example, your Xbox is running on a 4090 and your PS5 is just 1080 NVIDIA from 10 years ago. So for sure you will have a lot of stuff different, right? So they always tend to use the same thing, right? So yeah, I mean, I also thought that IBM doesn't work with them, but then when I saw like, because, okay, you know what, I will tell you the truth. I work with Adobe, and Adobe actually uses a lot of their chips for certain tools like that they use. They have this pad that you draw with that you can buy, and that pad actually uses some IBM processors that are made the same for certain generative AI models that NVIDIA uses. And yeah, the drawing table. And also the same thing with these little snippets or little like, I don't know how to even call it. Let's call it whatever machines. These machines are used exactly for cooling, for also NVIDIA and AMD's ESOs, these ones that he's just talked about here. So for me, I mean, maybe they don't market that, but they actually use it. Yeah. But they certainly aren't creating them, as you suggested earlier. They do. I mean, think about also, don't talk only about GPUs here. Yes, I might actually be wrong about certain things, but the thing that I'm also sure of is that CPUs is also another topic. And when you tell, for example, Ryzen or basically the normal CPUs that comes there as well, they actually manufactured by IBM. So all the CPUs actually in the world also are actually manufactured at 70% probably by IBM. Even though that they tell you, hey, buy this E9, it's totally better than the Ryzen 7. But then you find yourself actually buying them both from the same manufacturers. That's what I meant. For me, I see that IBM actually build them, but the specification is made by NVIDIA or by AMD. That's what I meant. When NVIDIA and AMD want GPUs made, they go to external companies to make them. You mean manufacturing them, right? I mean, this is one thing that we can also check. Where does NVIDIA manufacture their chips? Because this is something that AI maybe at TSMC. And if you actually search that, let's go directly to where is TSMC. So NVIDIA depends on TSMC. NVIDIA, along with other major chip design companies like AMD and Apple, relies heavily on TSMC manufacturing other chips due to TSMC advanced manufacturing capabilities. All right, is TSMC's having partnership with IBM? Oh, I didn't have actually that. IBM Aggiism. So what is this? Foundry. Does IBM via deal hurt? Ah, okay. Custom chips drive AI features. So this is actually what we do here. So ASML, this is a company that we also worked with in Adobe, and it partners with IBM to build some drawing stuff. But I don't seem to find any public stuff about this, or owned by IBM. Or maybe not owned, maybe actually here it says not. TSMC is a Taiwanese company and major contract chip maker with IBM, while IBM is an American multinational technology. So basically, here it says that there is no relationship with them actually. But it says also that TSMC is a major supplier of chips to IBM, including for premium server chips. IBM is looking to switch to TSMC in 7nm technology. But here it doesn't actually. Morris Chang says TSMC rejected IBM Technology Alliance. Oh, okay. When did this happen? 2000. All right. So yeah, reports IBM taps TSMC for 7. Okay, so now they are actually publicly not together. So maybe there is something that I need to check. But yeah, here it's a really big topic then. So TSMC is the Taiwanese company that builds most of the chips for NVIDIA and AMD, but it also works with IBM as well. Right, okay. They are manufactured by the likes of TSMC. But TSMC is just a manufacturer. Here it's just basically building, right? I never heard of IBM building AMD or NVIDIA chips. Okay, maybe I need actually to check what we have in Adobe and we are building in IBM, but I'm sure that we are building also chips there. So it might be that Adobe is a heavily American company. So IBM actually is building for us a lot of stuff, even for these tablets and stuff that I just mentioned, so the drone tablets. But the thing is that I want also to make sure of is it we are building these with IBM just because we have restrictions with TSMC or TMSC or whatever, or is it that we chose IBM because it's better, right? Bonus main that yeah, boards or ASIC chips or something, but that's about it. All right, let's continue then looking at this. Just ask AI. How about MCP? What do you think? What is MCP, by the way?
If I choose the one with support for hybrid graphics, I'm going to be giving up kernel level gaming optimizations. Or that if I want broad hardware support, that could cost me the customization that I crave. But the truth is that that's not the case. With a bit of elbow grease, the gaming-centric features and tweaks of one distro could be applied.
So he's saying game mode packages are available for Ubuntu, Debian, Solus, Arch, Gentoo, Fedora, wherever. Possibly more. This is the game mode part. And he's showing one package from GitHub that does allow you to play games basically, and that's it. Or maybe that uses your AMD CPU or GPU or wherever to be able to play on Linux as if you play on Windows. Is that the case here?
Applied to another, but with some exceptions. The Pantheon user interface, for example, is specific to Elementary OS. And for a more gaming-related example, TechRadar mentions a feature of Gamer OS, now called Chimera OS, called the Chimera app that sounds super cool. It allows you to easily install and manage non-Steam games and even ROMs for a wide range of retro consoles. Except that if I wanted an OS that doesn't support multitasking, I would invent myself a time machine so that I could go back and use it. But wait, hold on. The Chimera app can be used outside of Chimera OS. There's even a guide. But unless I want to really get into the weeds, I better stick with something based on Arch, by the way, like Manjaro or Garuda. Not that that's going to be my final answer. In spite of its spectacularly stupid name, pop!_OS topped just about every listicle that I found and legitimately has some compelling selling points, like demystifying the notoriously difficult process of getting my NVIDIA GPU working properly and making installing the apps and tools that I'm going to need to run my Windows games a one-click affair with the Pop Shop. If it was 10 years ago and I was looking for a challenge, Manjaro's bleeding edge approach, please forgive the occasional screw up, definitely calls to me. And did I mention it's based on Arch, by the way? But
So can I ask a question? Guys, can you actually, let's search out what are the distros built on Arch? So Manjaro is one of them, Endeavor AS, Arco Linux, Artix Linux, and Garuda Linux, which he mentioned also. Okay, But what is this core experience that you will actually want to truly have with using Arch, right? Just maybe a pain. Isn't like using Arch like you have to set up your internet IPv configuration or whatever before even to start using them? It's interesting for me actually how people actually are using Arch at all. Like, why? And install script for what exactly here you mean? Ah, okay, so you just have an installation script instead of doing it yourself manually. Well, that could be good. But why Arch? Why Arch in the beginning? Like, why not Linux? Basically, that is Ubuntu or something like that, right? Okay, so like set up everything with it in desktop environment. All right, cool. So otherwise, if you don't set up this desktop environment, you will be actually rolling on command line at all cost. Personally, because of AOR. Yeah, I mean, maybe I just didn't understand why he did that. He just talked about gaming and then he jumped to Manjaro and Garuda Linux or something like that. And he said, yeah, I want to use something that is not multi-threading or something like that. Then I will just go back and install Arch. Let me go back a bit.
About every listicle that I found and legitimately has some compelling selling points, like demystifying the notoriously difficult process of getting my NVIDIA GPU working properly and making installing the apps and tools that I'm going to need to run my Windows games a one-click affair with the Pop Shop. If it was 10 years ago and I was looking for a challenge, Manjaro's bleeding edge approach, please forgive the occasional screw up, definitely calls to me. And did I mention it's based on Arch, by the way? But I want to win this thing without pulling my hair out for a month, and Pop! OS looks like a really good bet for that. It's Ubuntu based, so if I really want to get under the hood, that's totally an option, but the challenge here is play games, not get your PhD in Linux smartassery.
I, on the other hand, after a lot of deliberation, decided to go with the daring, the uncompromising Linux Mint with the cinnamon.
By the way, let's say that Mint is the worst because honestly, I don't like it. As I said, it has the worst Bluetooth setup, like Bluetooth compatibility, and honestly, I don't know how people are using it. But yeah, it might be that the latest LTS versions are really better than before. But I started using this in 2018, I think. But now they are on version 20 for some reason. They evolved. And yeah. Let's continue.
Desktop environment. As for how I think that's going to go, honestly, I'm pretty confident. I've used Mint before. I daily drove Ubuntu, the distro it's based on, for about 2 years back in school. So I'm not scared of figuring out how to install a GPU driver or use a package manager. I'm comfortable getting my hands dirty with Grub, but that doesn't mean I'm not a little scared of you. I'm pretty technical and I work in development every day, but hardcore Linux chads are absolutely terrifying. You scare me, and I really want this to go well.
So what this guy's saying is just he wants to use Linux, but he hates people who use like the original distros because people who use these kind of distros terrifies him, and he wants to be as close as to Windows maybe. So just use Windows. And by the way, Next said here Linux Mint UI is ugly. It's typically ugly, and I checked also on YouTube some videos, people saying, hey, how to make your Linux Mint look like Mac. I mean, at this point, I just lost it. Why should you just actually make Linux Mint look like Mac? Just use Mac then, and that's it. It's actually built on Unix-based like environment, so why should you use Linux at all if you're just trying to make it as Mac, right? Or Mac OS, because Mac OS is great. I mean, yeah, I agree with you, but I don't agree with this guy here talking because I feel like, yeah, he's saying, hey, I cannot. Oh, okay, if you can't afford a Mac, that's the best option. Well, yeah, you can so, but you know how buggy. You know, if you are actually setting up the Linux Mint, and this is something that I just remembered now, you will be configuring some styles, actually CSS styles on top of your UI, on top of your GUI basically. And then what will happen is that all of these needs to be loaded on real time while you are actually, for example, if you press control space on the Mac, then the search bar will open. The moment you do that, you need to have the opacity of the background to be a bit minimum, like a bit up. I don't know how to even explain it. You need to have box shadowing for the input and also an opacity drop on the back side. So at this point, you are just adding, displaying and enabling and disabling this basically CSS setup. And then it becomes really weird. Like it becomes really weird because sometimes in a fraction of a second, things will not load, and then you will be either disable at all time or enable at all time. So then you need to reboot your computer. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's continue. And I'll at the same time check before we continue the setup from Next here. He said this is how it look, and this looks scary, man. So so he did some Zen setup. I know this. This is cool, but I saw this before. I saw something similar. So can you actually share your dot files, or maybe share something about this? I know that this is something that I cannot recall, but I'm sure that he did a lot of a lot of customization. Look at this. It's wired. It's saying on top. Bluetooth is off. I don't know what is this. And then it's sharing also. Oh, it's 10 p.m. at your place, man. Oh, really? Where are you, man? Yeah. So this guy's he's also obsessed with terminals like me. I mean, yeah, I do like terminals. Look, it's like either this or that. You know, I cannot even okay, you see, he has actually, I didn't see this until now. He has also the search bar. I saw this on a YouTube video actually. Nice. Cool, man. I mean now we are sharing a lot about Linuxes and distros and stuff, and I feel like I can relate to all of you, which is really amazing. Cool. Let me actually just go back to the video, and I'll read your comments after the video.
Because I still want you to like me when this is all over.
Got my drive ready, and Windows couldn't possibly have picked a more appropriate time to just bug the crap out. It's like it knows what's gonna happen. It won't let me click power. Obviously, I'm not 100% committed to this yet, so my plan is to remove my existing SSD from the system. It's not a Gen 4 drive or anything, but I'm not expecting that to matter. I mean, what am I gonna be doing, running direct storage? Ha! Got him.
Okay, so this is what happened last time. My desktop you can see where it's supposed to sort of end, but it keeps going, and a mouse can go over there. So I'm gonna right click right below the Mint logo. Nothing shows up, but there's the menu. If I try to mouse over these, I can't select them. But if I move my mouse back to below this M, there it is. I found it. Okay, so my mouse has to be right there. I'm just gonna see if I can do an easy fix of just turning on.
You know what I remembered with Linux Mint, with what he just showed right now? There is a possibility that when you run Linux on both screens, one screen will be your main, so whenever you right click, you will have a menu, and on the other screen it's basically secondary screen, which means that you cannot do the same thing. So you're let's say you have like folders on the right side of each screen, and you want to drag one of them to throw it on the other side. No, you can only run one app on the other screen, and that's it. And this was actually a bad thing. I thought that they got rid of it, but for some reason he's showing actually this issue that I actually had before.
Off my monitor here. To be fair, it is not installed yet. This is a live boot environment. See if it comes back. I'm gonna turn that back on. DisplayPort, no signal. Okay.
I was worried that my Thunderbolt connection, I used Thunderbolt to connect to a dock for my main display, was going to cause problems with the installer because there's no drivers installed or anything. So I hooked up my monitor that's here in the server closet, but dun, 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 hey, there it is, just like that. My mouse.
I mean, another question: what is the like I don't know what is why. Okay, let's change the question. Why do you do all of this hustle to actually install Linux sometimes? So he had to install another monitor to actually work on installing Linux because he doesn't have the drivers for his dock station. So then he has to take all the drivers and install them, and then dock his station, and it will work. I know the only thing that you will like about this is that, okay, it's just an extra step and you are learning nothing. That's it. I mean, change my mind. I mean, it's too much. All right, let me read some comments. So Pro Evils here is not happy with Vim and terminals and stuff like that because he feels that this is a regression. So it's like a hipster thing. That's correct, 100%. It came up to be something from 2010, 2013, when I was studying. Everybody in university was, hey, let's do Vim, because if you are a Vim user, then you are the coolest and you are really smart. I got into it, I got used to it, and now I cannot change it for some reason. I have VS Code, I have everything installed in it. But you know what it helped me with, maybe when I was a junior, is that I'm not using AI at all, right? And I'm not using any other extensions that will not make me focus. It's just that I'm writing code in the terminal, I'm trying to execute it, I'm having multi-terminals, and things are working smoothly, and I'm not getting distracted. Because imagine me going to work and I have only WSL installed, or only a terminal there. And by the way, here I have WSL, but on other machines I have only one terminal. So I open the OS, there's one terminal. That's all I work on. Tmux, as if I am working on a VM without UI, basically. Yeah, just use Linux, bro. Yeah, kinda. That's also what people are actually saying. Back when I was in university, that was the thing. So here, Ort said, hey, he has a question. What is the best tip for a 30-year-old man to actually want to spend 3 years on CS degree and want to get into the market as a full stack dev? That's a good thing that you are trying to do that, but do it smartly. Try to also get your diploma with minimum effort. So then you can actually study at home, do projects, and make a portfolio since day one. So even if you learn how to do CSS with Tailwind, make a portfolio, you showcase everything you know about Tailwind. So then you will be a good front-end developer at some point, because you already did heavy work on certain packages or certain aspects. And then learn how to do back-end work with Express, for example. Like me, I was really bad at this part. And then when I started to work on it, I just had like a repo where I start with a minimal backend, and then I started to evolve, right? So do the same approach. Maybe it will help a lot. Maybe it will become something that will teach you, rather than going to university and understanding like stuff that you don't really do at work. Yeah, instant data structure in university, instant how to use math in university, or how to use logic. But don't think that university only will get you a job. So yeah, portfolio stuff. Today we did something with form data. Do you think I will forget this? Never in my life. I will actually tell it to everybody that I meet right now. Hey, do you know that if you use a form data, make sure that you actually have maybe is a form data value to know that you don't parse everything as a JSON, something like that, right? And now I can talk about it with all confidence, and I'm saying, yeah, I learned something new, right? But believe me, I'm still feeling stupid all the time. I still feel like people who are heavily invested in IT, sometimes in architectural decisions, like I cannot take architectural good decisions. I panic sometimes, even though that I'm good at it. So we are building something really cool. And I'm sorry that I'm talking too much. We'll go back to the video. But this is interesting. So interesting even for you guys to give me like your suggestions, right? So for me, I have worked on a project with batteries. So you have a battery, CAN batteries, we call them, like 5 batteries into one, let's call it fridge. And this fridge has Linux installed in it, right? And this Linux distro, whenever you connect your Ethernet cable, you will have a UI, right? This UI is basically nginx running with a Python backend and a frontend, React frontend. And you can configure these batteries inside the fridge, okay? Cool. So the thing is that when they asked me, what should we do to install this inside this Linux distro that is in a small 2 GB of RAM basically machine, and if I have any decisions about changing this machine to become powerful, or maybe to have certain machine that we buy that will work with all the batteries at all times, and we won't have any problems with NGINX or built-in or whatever, I tend to not know what to answer. And why? Because I don't have a big experience with development and pipelines, and maybe when it comes to basically installing requirements, or maybe knowing your requirements to deployment requirements, if I can tell it like that. So I said, I don't know. Came some guy, he didn't know more than me, I think, but he said, hey, we can use this tool that has a recipe ID. This recipe ID contains all the packages that we need to install, one of them being NGINX. Whenever you install something, this recipe ID will reflect, and it will know exactly what to install, what packages, if a package updates or something like that. And you don't need more than 3 GB of RAM or something like that, and 1 GB of storage, and that's it. And make sure that this Linux is maybe Ubuntu based. And he said, okay, maybe Ubuntu 20 point something because it's LTS version, and he went. That's it. That's all he said. He got paid like 5,000 for an hour, and then he went home. So I was like, I know all of this. I could have said this, but I don't know. I'm learning, so I learned that and I moved on. Yeah. Cool. So let's move on. So let me read this. Why wouldn't it? Blah, blah, blah. So it's really taken jobs. Those who resent AI or refuse it will get left behind by those who do. True. And I mean this with the greatest respect. And I know this is environment for learning, but let's be brutal honest here. Async, for many, many hours, you've been wrestling with uploading a file. True. I mean, I could ask AI, and it could have told me there what I can do, right? So you don't use AI at all in your job? No, we do. We do use at my job, for sure we do. Right? So you don't use it, but I am more a front-end developer. That's what I can say. You know, the front-end part of all of this, I did it in a second. Like the UI, blah, 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 blah. I did it yesterday in 1 hour. Yeah, and all good. But I'm not familiar with the error that we had. And there was no definition of an error. It was, if you think about it, everybody was questioning. So why, whenever we push this body of form data, it returns as an empty object, right? So that I never know, and I didn't guess right? Why would he not pick the AI? Correct. I mean, yeah, but AI here will help you write the code, right? So you don't use AI at all. I answer that. Do you think that in 1 year, for example, you won't write code at all? Async stack. No, I would still work with code, but I will still work with code dependent on AI. Let's say like that. Cool. Let's continue the video. Maybe let's watch other part. Now he's installing this, so he's doing the OS setup, and yeah, it's still fun, I think so. But let's see what he did. I'm actually questioning maybe one thing, what he will do probably to install all the drivers. Should he actually use the Mint packaging system, or maybe he would actually use another type of program or something, or a packager or whatever.
Else. He no move. Oh wait, where'd it go? Oh, I thought, oh wow, oh the sensitivity is just so high that I couldn't tell it was there. Okay then. Yep, that's the one. Here we go. Full name. Yes.
Just did a quick restart and turned the side monitor off, and it's fixed to the bounds of the screen, and the mouse problem is solved. So just installing directly from the live environment. So I do want the multimedia codecs. It's nice that Mint comes with those.
By the way, Mint comes with a live environment installed in your USB. So if you put it in your USB and you try to boot with it, you will have Mint opening up, and then you will click the installer, and that's the installer here is actually the live environment that he just talked about.
Not every distro does. I haven't decided which drive to actually put Mint on, so I'm not entirely sure where it's installing these media codecs, but it's doing something. Okay, finish the install. It wants me to remove my flash drive. Got it, and then press enter. This is our first login, and we're there. Check video drivers. I knew I was gonna run into that installing Mint instead of Pop! OS, but that is a challenge I have decided to undertake. It should be okay, but we'll see later. I'm gonna go through this one.
Now I have a question. I will write it on Google. Is installing Pop! OS harder than Mint? Pop! OS is better or worse than Mint? Let's see this. Maybe I'll switch. Neither is better or worse. They both have their use cases in general. Both can do the same thing. Are great for general computer use here. It always comes with a... Oh, okay. It always has more data GPU drivers and kernel. So basically one probably install upgrades in gaming stuff. Cool. It will soon have a completely replicated desktop environment with all the modern bells. And then Pop! OS comes, if you come from Windows or Mint, which have similar desktop interfaces, Pop! Will need some adjusting to and getting used to. How does Pop! OS look like? Pop! OS. Pop! OS desktop. Let's do Pop! OS desktop environment, not the desktop. I don't know even what to write here. I'll just see an image. This is how Pop! OS look like. Let me just look at an image that is good to share with you. So this is how it looked like. Very minimalistic, actually. Very good. I like it actually somehow. So it says that if you come from Windows, you won't like this. Man, I don't get it. I mean, it's not a big difference. It's just that it's so close to macOS instead. So if you are coming from macOS, this probably will look so familiar for you. Look, it's even like the same bar on top. Kinda. This is what literally macOS is doing with the latest stuff, with the iOS, latest iOS basically environment. Yeah, it looks good actually. And this is actually exactly Pop! OS for a developer. He has GitHub, Discord, VS Code, and some other stuff. Cool. AI is coming for everyone, including physical job. Here's another fun example of how Linux is janks. You want to install the latest version of Microsoft Office software. It is universally popular and needed in many jobs. I mean, yeah, Microsoft Office now has like very adaptable packages that are, for example, if you install it with Brew, Microsoft Office, you will have a very good one actually. Yeah, good version and also a good stable version. Some guy here is calling himself Notification and he's coming into the TikTok and saying violation detected, end live now to avoid account suspension. Man, go find a job. Cool, let's continue with this.
Welcome, manager.
First order of business is to get our mouse speed down from over 9,000 to something more reasonable. That seems more like it. Also, why the hell is this on by default? There's no obvious indication that any of my hardware is not working fully. Even my Aquantia network card picked up just fine. I knew audio was going to be a challenge because I don't think the Go XLR has any kind of, oh, this is interesting, output. Hello? Okay, it appears to be taking my input right now, which is my mic right over here, presumably, and turning it into output. Blah, blah, blah. Yep, that's definitely it. Does this work at least?
Front, left, front, right.
Okay. Well, I've got sound at least. I was looking for a simple way to just list all the hardware connected to the system so that I could verify if my drivers are installed. Linux apparently doesn't really work like that, but I can just install this utility called HardInfo. Not exactly a hardware info substitute, but it's a lot better than nothing. Of course, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on any of this for now, because the goal today for part 1 is to pick a distro, get it installed, and run a game. I will definitely need Steam. Failed to install.
Failed to install Steam. This may be a temporary issue or could have been caused by external or manual committed software. By the way, he's installed the Debian part of it, so it should work 100% if this is like Linux based basically, and for sure it is. And tend to be all the Debian files for all the packages inside. I think he's using Flatpak for this. I'm really familiar with it. I remember Flatpak looking the same as this. So this is the Flatpak package manager. And yeah, probably if you open the details, we will see why. but I see like no big problem here, rather than maybe he installed the wrong version of the OS, that then it didn't update all the packages correctly, or maybe Steam already have a problem with Linux. But yeah, he's talking about gaming here, and I don't know. Yeah, maybe you have an idea if you installed Steam before on Linux. Does anybody of you actually play on Linux? I would say no. Yeah, I know macOS right now can run Assassin's Creed Shadows, for example, the game. I saw it yesterday, and everybody actually want their money back, because what they need to do actually is to go to the App Store and install it into their macOS, basically. And what happened is that the files, when they're actually rendering for the game to be launched, they tend to have a lot of errors. Still, the game is launched, but it still have a lot of rendering issues. And they promised that you will have a very good kind of FPS, but it was really, really bad. And I don't know, and I cannot find why, but when I checked what people are actually complaining about on Reddit, it says that whenever they are building the files of the application, or basically of the game, it tends to actually skip certain files that are basically running smoothly on Windows. And the team of the game, they actually didn't think at all that they will actually distribute it to macOS, but they got forced to, because they didn't sold too many instances of the game, which is also another cruelty of being a developer. You will be forced to do something if your manager actually thinks that you didn't sell much or something like that, which is also one of the parts of what I hate about development.
Elsie, morning. You were trying to remove the following essential packages. What are you talking about? I've done nothing with this other than install that hard info thing. You know, it's hilarious. The last time I tried to do anything on Ubuntu, I ran into this exact same thing. I was told, it's super simple. You just install it. No, you do not. This is stupid. Apparently.
And I think here, before you start installing any packages, you need to start installing the needed packages for your OS. So basically, there is this thing called Xtools, for example, for Linux, that helps you install some GUI parts. You mean Pro Evil saying that Assassin's Creed Shadows is the best-selling one for the history of the franchise? I mean, didn't they actually trashed a lot about the Japanese culture part, so they panicked, so they started actually doing multi-versioning? I was actually joking about it, saying that they will have it on Switch as well, because just they actually, yeah, it was a decision that they panicked, and they actually decided to run it on OS as well. 3 mil sales in 2 days. I mean, that's good, I agree. Especially people probably went to the platformer parts and bought it on more Xbox and actually PS5. But the thing is that I also don't agree with what they did to the game, because I like Assassin's Creed. I still play every one of them. But what Fox News or CNN or whatever, that whoever trying to trash this game, are looking actually at Steam current players, and the Steam current players in the first day were around 40,000, right? 40,000 only in the first day, which is very low, right? And they said, oh, Assassin's Creed Shadows is being down. And guess what? Even though that Ubisoft actually sold too much, it still got affected by that, and its shares started to plummet and stuff like that. So what you do with numbers sometimes is totally different from what the people conceive at the end, what people actually think about the game. So yeah, I was actually still seeing that Ubisoft managers still promise. Even I have a few of them on my LinkedIn, and they ask, and they telling people, yeah, we will have more updates coming up, so don't forget about playing the game, don't churn from playing the game. We will have a lot of free content up, like still coming up for the game, and so on and so forth. But what I don't agree with is that all these PC Gamer or wherever, PC Gamer actually wrote good stuff about it, or all these magazines online, they are not talking about the sum of all the game sells. sellings, they are just talking about the Steam. And I don't realize, actually, I don't think that someone of a gamer who wants to play a chill game on a couch is going to actually buy it on Steam. Very few of them. But yeah, they should have talked about Xbox sellouts and also about PlayStation sellings. But yeah, I get it. But I am sure 100% that what they did with macOS and stuff, let me share with you something. So if you say people want refund for Assassin's Creed Shadows from App Store, refund on how to tell. So this is a question actually that I found yesterday. I hear they're going to refund everyone who pre-purchased Assassin's Creed Shadows. I purchased the Ultimate Edition on Ubisoft Connect. How can I tell if they refunded? Okay, so they are not talking here about the macOS part of it, but I want to actually see a lot of refunding problems actually. Panic attack. Ubisoft cancels and refunds, but that's a lot of refund topics. So as you see here, a lot of magazines are talking about this. But let's see, successful sale of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Let's see how many people talks positively about this. No, not successful use. Successful launch, right? Launch, how can I do that? Launch, like LUNCH. Okay, so Assassin's Creed Shadows could have had one of the most... Okay, so still Google is not agreeing with this. Could have had one of the most successful launches in the history of Assassin's Creed franchise. The news comes from VCC, which reports that Assassin's Creed Shadows delivered the second highest day one sales in the franchise history, putting the game behind only other entry, which is Valhalla. What? That's weird. Yeah. Was I actually doing something wrong here? So some guy said, all right, okay, I got it. I'll get your point. So I'll check Discord for a second. Pro Evils messaged me. At the bottom of the Google search, it has your address and it says it's based on your home location saved on Google. Oh, sorry, man. That's correct, actually. Yeah, I will need actually to disable that. Interesting. Yeah, correct. Sorry, I read your comment public. Now everyone knows, yeah? All right, I will actually filter this, or maybe I will do a VPN next time. That's a good one. Thanks, man. All right. Now you have my location. It's very funny though that my location there is the only how can I say this? Yeah, it's close, but it's not accurate, but it's close. It's 100% close. The surroundings close, but what is it called? The PO box, not the PO, but what is that called? I don't know. The number is wrong. Okay. Okay, good. How is Google the go-to these days? Oh man, about them boxes. All right. So here, let's go and check what is happening. So apt-get install Steam. So he's trying to get it from there. And then what is happening again is that it is installing all the required stuff. So the following packages were automatically installed are no longer required. And then it's installing some of the stuff that he might need for Steam. And that's fine. That's totally what we expect when you install something on Linux. You will install the pre-packages first. Right? Cool. I mean, this is a good one, good video. What I expect right now from you guys is to share with me this kind of stuff from now on. And we will kind of go into, we will go and check all days something new. And maybe tomorrow we can check part 2. Instead, maybe Pro Evils, is there something else interesting in this video that you might want to share with us? Maybe I can finish it. There is a conclusion part. Let's check the conclusion, okay? I know that I'm jumping, but yeah, it's late for me, so I have 20 minutes to go, so let's check the conclusion part and let's go.
Than I did. The best part of this whole thing is that we are just getting started. A lot of the games that I want to run, like Supreme Commander Forged Alliance, appear to have ways to run them. Discord looks like there's a way to get it going. It involves a lot of command line. Hopefully I won't brick my OS. But step 2 is getting streaming working. Both Luke and I stream. We both need it working if we're going to run this for a month. So good luck, everybody. Thanks FreshBooks for sponsoring this video. FreshBooks is a simple account for free for 30. It was quite an experience.
That's what I think I told it to do. X server set.
By the way, here he has a Titan RTX, so probably the 4090 in this video. No, not really. Okay, it's another version. But the thing is that, yeah, I see here that there is like the video NVIDIA's installer, and then there is the video Linux. So basically what you need always is an extra thing for Linux to work properly. And that's it. I mean, if you are an enthusiast about Linux, then you will install Linux and you don't care about all of this. This seems like a nerd activity to do. You just have fun doing this, right? And everybody will have fun doing this. And I think even me, when I installed Mint, I said Linux Mint, I was having fun. Even though that I didn't let my keyboard run, I had to search for drivers and so on and so forth. But still, I liked it, and everybody was happy at the end. Yeah, basically, yeah, just proving the point of what I initially said. It doesn't matter what you pick. There's also junk to run into. Yeah, that's why they had to do that. Any normal person would have to do if they wanted to play games and stream. True. You know what? What about macOS? And this is my last question for this live stream. What about macOS? What it comes to as a junk? Maybe you know better. I have something maybe I can say about macOS. Yeah. But I would like to hear from you, to hear from your opinions and what you do. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, is it junk? That's how you say it. Yeah. What do you hate about macOS as a developer? Let me see if there is maybe a video about this. Okay, why macOS is horrible until you learn how to use it, for sure. Why I switched to macOS after 10 years of using Windows. That's a good video. So everybody here is talking about how they switched. macOS can game, but Apple can't. This drive great anyway. The development disaster behind macOS. Linux Mint. And then we return back to Linux. Should I buy MacBook for programming? This guy's saying no, basically. M3 MacBook Air after a week. Okay, that's the review. Things to know before switching. So this guy switched from Windows to Linux. Yeah, I watched a couple of these videos actually, and I don't remember. Yeah, whatever, man. It's like too much opinions. Should a video of people switching to Linux to macOS? Yeah, probably that. So I will actually do another search here. Why should you use macOS instead of Linux? You know what? I'll add software engineer just as a keyword, right? Best OS for programming: Mac versus Windows versus Linux, debate settled. Okay, this guy is funny actually. It's a 2-minute video, so let's do it. All right, let's do it.
Minute. Mac, Windows, or Linux. That's the single biggest choice you'll ever make if you decide to become a programmer. Not only will you spend tens of thousands of hours with your OS, but it also has a profound impact on your subconscious. By clicking I agree to the terms and conditions, you are now forever a part of the Windows collective hive mind. When you unbox that sleek new MacBook, you unknowingly just join the cult of Apple. And the only way to break these proprietary shackles is to compile the Linux kernel from scratch.
You know, he said if you actually use MacBooks, then you actually join the cult of Apple or the cult of MacBook. And that's correct. Hey, Pro Evils, do you have a tablet at home, like an Apple tablet, a tablet pencil, iPhone 16, everything from iPhone? Also, maybe, what is the Apple Watch? You have an Apple Watch as well? You have everything, right? You have the whole environment. I guess you do both all of them. just because you have macOS, and they sold you that. I think it's not that I'm actually not having the same. I have also an iPhone, wherever, Apple Car, Apple House too. Nice. I mean, Apple TV, yeah, everything Apple. So they sell hard, yeah. So yeah, and Samsung phones and custom built 4K PC. That's good. That's really good. All right, let's continue. But yeah, that's also a good point, because if you think about it, they have to sell you a lot to just feel comfortable. All right. I like one thing between my MacBook and phone. When I copy something on my phone, I can paste it on my MacBook. That I cannot find anywhere else, which is cool.
To call yourself an open source freedom fighter. Who will be your supreme leader? Jobs, Gates, or Torvalds? In today's video, we'll look at the differences between Mac, Windows, and Linux from the perspective of a software engineer. For more than a decade, I've enjoyed the pleasure and pain of all three of these operating systems, and have realized that FreeBSD is superior to all of them, but I don't want that secret to get out. Many years ago, when I got my first real job, I was assigned a Windows machine and got introduced to beautiful technologies like Java and Oracle database. From my cubicle, I used these tools to build crappy websites for a failing Fortune 500 company. It sucked, but luckily through divine intervention, I was fired from that job and started doing remote work full-time with my brand new MacBook Pro. This bad boy had a dual-core CPU and a full gigabyte of RAM. I traveled around the country from Starbucks to Starbucks, drinking soy lattes while developing Ruby on Rails applications on my MacBook. But eventually I realized that the real hardcore developers were using Linux. As fate would have it, my MacBook Pro stopped.
You know, now he fell into the problem, not the problem, of the sweet problem of that Linux people are better. Look what he said. And then I realized that hardcore basically developer uses Linux. Why? Why is that like the taboo thing about it? I don't know. Maybe you can tell me in the chat.
But eventually I realized that the real hardcore developers were using Linux. As fate would have it,
Is that the real hardcore developers? The real. So he actually emphasized on that. I mean, I know that it's wrong, but why, right? Why do they think that the real hardcore developers are the people that use Linux? It's a good topic. Actually, I might launch a podcast based on this. Like just a podcast saying why the real developers are the one using Linux.
my MacBook Pro stopped working right on schedule exactly 2 years after I bought it, so that's when I built my first PC from scratch and installed Ubuntu. Around this time, Richard Stallman called it spyware, so I experimented with a bunch of other distros, but have mostly stuck with Debian. What I'm referring to as Linux is in fact GNU Linux, or as I've recently taken to calling it, GNU plus Linux.
The GNU plus Linux system.
Linux is not an operating system unto itself, but rather another free component of a fully functioning GNU system made useful by the GNU core libs, shell utilities, and vital system components comprising a full OS as defined by POSIX. What I've learned over the years is that there's no perfect OS. Like today I use Windows, but use the Windows subsystem for Linux for development, and always keep a MacBook Pro along with my ski goggles available for traveling. Now when using 3 different operating systems, it's important to have an IDE that runs on all of them, and there's nothing better than JetBrains IDEs, the sponsor of today's video. Their legendary family of integrated development environments are used by millions of OS. Viewfinder, but Viewfinder experience on a Mac is nice, and tools in the GUI look really nice, although they can be pretty annoying to use. I'm looking at Viewfinder, but most importantly, everything works out of the box with zero configuration. Mac OS prevents you from going down customization rabbit holes, spending days configuring pointless stuff on your machine, instead of writing code that's actually useful. But if you want to get really good at computers, you'll need to learn Linux. On the server, Linux is king. The vast majority of servers running in the cloud powering the world's infrastructure run Linux, and that's because it's free, open source, and reliable. However, very few normies actually use it for their personal computers. Why is that? It has to do with complexity. To use Linux, you first need to choose a family, like Debian, Arch, Red Hat, Gentoo, and many others. Then you have to choose a distro in that family, like under Red Hat you've got Enterprise Linux.
Man, the BSD family became like the biggest tree of inheritance from Linux possible. I mean, the biggest tree of, I don't know even what to say. What is the word that I can use here? The BSD family, man. It's like, I don't know, an Italian family in New York in the 1950s, man. Like, it's like 700 people just called Marco. It's crazy, man. It's like it's the same thing under the hood, but it's just different stuff. Do anybody remember the Backtrack one, 2010 or 9? now it's called something else. The one that they use for basically hacking and stuff. What is it called now? I forgot. It's a Linux based also, but Kali Linux now. Kali Linux was before it was called actually Backtrack. All right. So ProEvil said another thing is try to find any Windows PC anywhere for the same price of a new Mac Mini that's as small, as efficient, and as powerful. It literally does not exist unless you want to pay more because it's fully open macOS. Okay. So the thing is about Linux, people like it and the real developers like it because it's fully open and they have it there and they know that it's actually not controlled by anyone, and macOS isn't. It's closed source project. Can I add my own storage in a Mac Mini? No, but you can add your own storage on a GPU. Actually, that I never heard of it, but then he said never mind, so the answer is no. Okay. Yeah, you cannot add it as a... Okay, wait a second. Isn't there like a new Mac Mini is configurable? Like you can add NVMe stuff, but you need actually to buy it from them. I don't know, maybe actually it's business customizable because I heard that businesses can configure. Okay, you can configure yours, but you cannot configure it again after you buy it. So you cannot return it. You maybe want to return it and buy something else. Okay, that's also a bad thing maybe if it happens because then you have to buy something, right? Yeah. £400 for 1 terabyte storage. Wow, okay. 400 for 1 terabyte storage only. Wow. Okay, that's too much. Okay. Man.
Fedora, CentOS, Rocky Linux, and many others. Then you'll have to choose a desktop environment like GNOME, KDE, and so on. Then finally, you'll need to open up the terminal, type in a bunch of commands to resolve dependencies, compile things from source, update file permissions. Then a few weeks later, you should be good to go. Some distros are designed to be extremely user-friendly, like the Debian-based Linux Mint. But if you really want to be an Apex Alpha programmer, you'll likely want to go with something in the Arch family, allowing you to legally say, I use Arch, by the way. Not only is Linux free, but it offers you the most flexibility for customizing your machine, and in turn you're likely to learn a lot more about how computers actually work when you use it. And if you really want to get into something like penetration, distros like Kali Linux are highly optimized for that activity. In addition, if you're deploying applications on Linux servers, you'll be much more familiar with the Linux ecosystem when you use it.
Yeah, so this is 100% what I wanted to talk about, and correct me if I'm wrong. Using Linux as a real developer, as I said, and I'm gonna say this because now I'm using Linux, is closer to production than anything else. What does that mean? Most servers right now run on Linux, right? Or yes or no? Let's just use yes or no for answers. Ubuntu, Debian, Alpine, wherever, they all are servers, server run Linux distros, which means that if you are on the server side of your application, you need to run them. That's it, right? Also, if you work on Linux, you are working in the same environment as your production. So basically now you have really a good understanding of what's happening there. And tools like, what is it called, like systemd or something like that, or cron jobs or IP tables, all of these stuff you have that are native to Linux, right? So I'm telling you here that if you use Linux, you are the closest actually to production as possible. And you can change my mind, but that's it. I mean, I know that macOS also is there using Unix-based stuff, so you can do RMRF wherever, and you can do also the same kind of stuff. But Linux, still Linux. You know, Ubuntu is still actually in the environment that you will do your production later on. You can actually mimic application on production better. What about performance and resource usage? This is a big topic. I think macOS comes with a better resource usage than actually distros from Linux, because you can find a distro that is good at data like management or something like that, but it is probably having an open thing that is not working very proper as macOS. So macOS, for example, the environment that I talked about, when you can copy something from your phone and paste it somewhere else, you won't find that on Linux, I think. On Linux, that will be like a security vulnerability kind of, because someone can like take your phone, copy a script and then you paste something and then boom, something like that. I'm just saying, right? But that for Linux-based people, that will be like a vulnerability. I'm sure 100% that they would say the same. Now, package managers and customization, right? Interesting. What would be the best, macOS or Linux? I would leave this for you for package management. I mean, you said that you're surprised that terminal Vim guys haven't just gone full DOS, so the entire PC got no GUI. I mean, how can you run? I mean, I'm a web developer. I still need Chrome, right? But you know, WSL runs on GUI as well, so I can fire Explorer functions. So I can fire, like I say, Explorer, and then with Chrome.exe, and it will run even on WSL. That's a really good thing. I can show you an example. So now I can go here. I can close my app, and I can say, how can I say, Explorer.exe, and I will just do a dot, and then this will run my Explorer on WSL, right? The opposite, if I go to my actually that now I am on WSL, but if I do on PowerShell now, something that I use on WSL, like let's say Xclock or something like that, it will run only if I started with WSL. So they are perfection also, like they disconnect, they connect at all time. But you can use still your Windows stuff. It is good, right? So Linux, Windows are intertwined there. No, you cannot do that on any PC. I mean, if you do Linux only, you cannot do it. I mean, yeah. I'm talking about that when you have WSL on Windows. I'm not talking about when you have Linux for sure. You will not use Explorer then, you will use something else. Yeah. Man, okay, so now you're talking about configuration again, about how you can set an alias for a path. Yeah, you can do that, sure. But on macOS, it will be different, right? You can still do it actually if you use a terminal aliases, yeah. But yeah, okay, you know what? You said that's like perfection. What you're talking about there, the package management and customization for macOS, give us a good package manager for macOS that doesn't exist on Linux. Brew exists on Linux. I think the best one for macOS is Brew, right? Homebrew. I can, for example, write VS Code path and it opens whatever path on VS Code. Yeah, you can write that, correct, on your ZSH file, RC or whatever. Yeah. But you still need to write that. Here you don't. Alright, so I'm talking about app, DNF, Pacman, Yay, Nix, all of these. Do you have them on macOS? Yes, you do, I think, but you need to install them. Yeah. But you still can fully customize your desktop on macOS as well. So environments and stuff like that are debatable. Like you can do this or that, all right? You can choose here and both of them are good. I'm not saying that Linux better, but I'm saying also that you either choose this or that. Going to college for computer programming and software development, information technology. What laptop should I buy? Okay, this guy actually is a good. This is a good question for everyone. What laptop should someone buy as a very cheap one? Let's say a student would probably buy the best, cheapest kinda. So it needs to be kind of cool and also cheap for a developer. And what do you suggest for him here as a new college guy, a new university student? All right. But yeah, we go back to one thing that maybe Linux will always shut down these macOS users, is the question, is your OS open source? And the answer is no. But also the answer is okay to be no, because the fact that macOS or Apple is not doing anything crazy with their data, for example, selling your data or something like that, then it's fine to be closed source. I can show you opening a VM file system on Mac OS Explorer is exactly the same way you did on Windows for WSL. I'm just saying that's nothing unique or special to Windows or WSL. Okay. And then next program said, I got lucky 1 year, got free laptops worth 1.8K at a time for CS students. They stopped that now for new students. Okay, where are you from? So where do you get these from? In which universities, or is it specific universities or just general? Okay. I think in the whole UK they do that. They give university students like a new laptop. That's amazing if that happens. Specific university, okay. Yeah. Roya asked, hey, do you think it's possible to self-teach yourself programming as a beginner? Yes, you can. You can message me. I will actually share with you some courses that you can start with, and also a website called Roadmap something. You can actually go into it and learn step by step, and it will be a really good one. Yeah. But what do they do in universities here? I'm going back to this CS student first laptop. What do you think is the best laptop for that? Yeah. Labors or cons? I mean, probably Asus. I heard that Asus is the best laptop. The Asus in French. The Asus is the best laptop when it comes. Actually, you can even run some games on it, and also it's powerful. It has a GPU in it, and also always a good Ryzen 5 or Ryzen 7 CPU. All right, I have another question before we go. I will just go after 8 minutes, so at 3:10 my time. Who is the best superior CLI? All right, the superior CLI for devs, that's something that also we can talk about, because I know that macOS has its terminal. Then people now tend to use iTerm 2, which is a really good one. But I want to actually talk about what is the superior CLI. Why using Linux will be the superior CLI, and why using macOS will be also superior CLI. You know, your macOS isn't anything without installing like certain packages like Gatekeeper, Xcode, and something like that. So you need to configure it as well. If you say, for example, Linux, you need to install Bash, ZSH, Fish, or whatever, and scripting works there to make your best CLI environment. Then also macOS needs the same, because you need to install Xcode and SIP, I think it's called, something like that. It's a tool hell, honestly. Yeah. Superior in just general, let's say. Like what's the best native CLI? Is it on macOS or is it on Linux? I think on macOS here you will win, because it still comes with a good supportability in the beginning. But also if you configure your CLI to actually look better, command line interface to look better on Linux, you will win. Okay, that's it. That's all I have about them both. Yeah. But I will always say, hey, but is your macOS free or open source? And then you would say no, and then I will win. But yeah, I'm happy with both. Actually, I have my MacBook next to me, not now, but it's somewhere here. It's in my bag. Oh, I remember something for macOS is bad. The code signing and the App Store privileges. So you need to pay like 100 euros for your app to be actually post or something like that. But that's for the people who actually post on macOS or Mac Store. And Docker Desktop, man. The Docker Desktop is better with virtualization on Windows, right? Not Windows, but on Windows. Yeah, Linux as well. On PCs in general. And there is this central lib/tools part where you cannot actually use nothing outside if it's not policy approved by macOS. Yeah. But you know what? The design also of the MacBooks is better. Like when you hold a MacBook, it's always cool. It's always as you feel like you're holding something valuable, rather than if you hold an Asus PC or a laptop from, I don't know, from HP or whatever, you will feel like you're holding plastic. While if you hold like an M4 Pro MacBook, it's like fortified. It's like very cool. Whatever, yeah. Mac gets a very close feeling to Linux while being as simple as Windows. Yeah, cool, true. And as a work environment, it's actually very nice. True, I actually tend to like also Mac for work more when it comes to sending emails, infrastructure, like how it looks, environment, swiping, right, left, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. Pro Evils here is touched by my opinion, I think, when it comes to Linux and Mac OS. I think I am Team Linux until you change my mind. Yeah. Then you can get Ghosty. Okay, but you're telling me now that I can get Ghosty. Ghosty works also on Linux, which is Rust based, I think. Yeah, it is Rust based. It's Rust plus there is something else that I forgot that it's based on it. Yeah. Extremely fast but limited feature set. Yeah, on macOS we often use Orb Stack instead of Docker. Okay, so it's total different thing. Does it use the same? Okay, how do you configure that? Do you have like a Docker file other type, or is it even called Docker file anymore? Pro Evils use Docker. Okay. And how do you help with the virtualization issues? Or don't you have any issues there? Oh, so it's maybe this Orb Stack is just another Docker on top. This might be just another distro for another Docker inside, basically. Anyhow, yeah. All right, I'm trying now to find like problems that people found out when they are using macOS. Okay, so people saying, have you ever had to fight with macOS permissions or code sign-in just to run a script? I did, at least, but that's not really a good. As also with Windows, you will have this problem as well. I actually unlocked my Windows power when I learned about the what is it called, like the backlog apps, which means that you are actually having apps that are running in the background, and these background apps are not activated by default. You need to activate them yourself manually, which means now whenever any Premier League match, for example, I follow Liverpool sometimes to watch their matches, I actually run like this kind of code that says, hey, whenever Liverpool is doing a match, please put like a header on top on my tiling manager that shows the result. Automatically, the match starts, it's there, right? So I never miss anything whenever on my PC and the match starts. That's cool. That's I like, right? And that is actually a compatibility part. So you can actually know about it. You can never know about it if nobody tells you, right? Okay, so here Pro Evils said, yeah, will probably work fine. I think it's always at once. The reason I stick with Docker until I can't is because I'm tired of abstractions on top of things, causing obscure errors here and there. Okay, so if you top a lot of things on top of each other, for sure you will have some virtual problems or maybe compatibility issues, and probably even just an issue just because something on top doesn't work as it should be. Yeah, let me find you another questions. Oh, yeah. Do you know that actually Docker still runs on a VM layer when it comes to macOS? This is someone told me about it and I didn't believe it, but I can actually search it right now. Does macOS Docker runs on a VM layer? So here we have AI. Oh, yes, Docker runs on a OS. macOS runs within a virtual machine VM layer. Wait a second. Is it also on desktop? Also on PC doesn't the same thing, but I think virtualization will do the same. Yeah. How could it not? True, yeah. But and what about PC? I mean, here on macOS, Docker runs within a Linux virtual machine using a virtualization layer, while on Windows, Docker Desktop uses a Linux VM backend, either though Hyper-V or WSL2. Then it's the same thing. It's just saying that maybe it's the same thing. How a WSL2 is not a VM or Hyper-V is not. It's actually virtualization as well. Yeah. Windows, Docker Desktop for Windows also relies on Linux VM. So both of them, sorry, then I am wrong. Because I maybe didn't maybe because I didn't configure that, then basically in my head it's not. But yeah, correct, you're right. All right, cool. All right, guys, thanks a lot for being here. Honestly, this is it. I would wait for your good night, good night messages. Honestly, today we did a lot. 3 hours of streaming is crazy. Good night, everyone. Thanks all for being here. We solved the issues that we need to solve. This part where we actually did the file input stuff, I will actually push this, and tomorrow we're gonna look into it. So adding correct, or maybe successfully running the add noise script. I'll push this. Maybe also, okay, I won't push everything into main yet until I clean everything. So I need to clean all of the stuff that I'm doing there. And yeah, we will have another successful meeting tomorrow. And let's continue with this. And hopefully we won't wrestle a lot. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being here. Awesome to see you again and again. And yeah, please make sure to follow. And I will be happy to see you soon, tomorrow, same time, 10 p.m. CET. Please be here. And let's continue. Ciao, ciao, Dan. Ciao, ciao, everyone. Thanks a lot.